Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome to the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. Of course, we focus on all things womanly, all things girly. Basically, oh, I said that all wrong. My bad, y'all. All things feminine, all things womanly, all things girly in essence. So if you're interested in the type of thing, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. We are here on a live stream, and it's been a minute since I have done a live. It's gonna be really quick, really cute. I just didn't have any time to really address some of the stuff that I've been seeing, some of the quote unquote racial politic that I've been seeing surrounding my channel. So I just wanted to address it because I feel like for real, this needs to be talked about because as far as I'm concerned, I feel like women will invalidate experiences of other women quite often if they feel like they could be separated, like they could be separated from those women by a particular attribute or feature. So a lot of times people throw out these words such as ugly, such as this, such as that, just because it's easier to not associate with that if you agree that you're not ugly, right? Most people aren't going to come out and say, "Yeah, I think I'm ugly." So if you call somebody else ugly, it almost gives you more of a reason to mistreat them. And I think that's the wrong type of message to go out here and push. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to respond to BG's response to my video. And then I'm also going to respond to just some other things that I've been seeing surrounded like dark skinned women as well. And then you guys can let me know what you think about my responses and then the overall logic that some of these women are using, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and show my screen. And if y'all have any comments, any questions, y'all can go ahead and leave a comment. I'll show your comment here. Just let people know who you are. This is my team here as a strategist. So we just like to just keep it cute, you know, and just show everything as far as the YouTube algorithm. So this is in response to my video. So this is why I feel like, because I feel as though, you know, it was using my content. So I have to be able to respond to it. So the title of Blunt Girlie's video is can a person just not be into you without all the shaming? Hashtag colorist. Now I shook my head, y'all. I really did. I shook my head because I was like, no, she's not. No, she is not.
Let me
But she was. She did. She decided we're gonna go there. So let's go ahead and respond to her responding.
just listen to their argument, right? But black men are colorists. Black men are colorists. I think the reason why it never really bothered me is because I'm not a narcissist that expects everyone to like me and be into me. Unpopular opinion, I do not believe that people's dating preferences can be colorists. And I'm going to explain why. People are entitled to like or have a specific type or even a fetish for whatever they like. So if a man wants to only like a light skinned woman, he's in his right to do that. And he should not be shamed or called a colorist for doing that. You guys are all okay when a man only likes dark skinned women. Okay? When a man only has eyes for dark skinned women, you guys are okay with that. But he can't only like light skinned women.
Okay, Blunt Girly. Okay, this is why we're responding, right? Because this is harmful. The reason why it's harmful is because it's simplifying colorism down to dating choices and preferences. And although I think those are avenues and outlets that you can find out a person's preference and undercover isms, that is not the main reason why isms are harmful. You do see that the colorism conversation has tailored more to dating and relationships, mostly because that's what women care about. At mass, it's harder to get women to care about pay inequality, wage disparities. It's hard to get us to care about that type of stuff at mass. So it's easier to get our attention by way of using male attraction as a way to get clicks and views. That's why we had the colorism conversation center a lot of relationship aspects of it when it simply just is not so. So the response to this part of it is people can have preferences. People have preferences all their life. I think that's a given. I didn't think that had to go without being said. But what we were particularly addressing, especially in my video that I will pull up, is that dark skinned black men, and I don't want to just say black men because I know other people have, but just in my opinion and my experience, I have seen a lot of dark skinned black women or dark skinned black men just have very harmful rhetoric towards women that are of their skin complexion. They will get rich for this rhetoric. They will tear down women that look like them. And then they would be allowed to go ahead and say, well, this is just a preference, or this is just a preference of mine, simply hiding behind romantic attraction when quite simply and quite honestly, it had more to do with their undercover harboring hate. And that's what we're kind of addressing, but we're going to let the blunt girly speak.
It's almost like you just don't want light skinned women to be liked. And that's not how the world works. Trying to police what someone chooses to date, it just never made sense to me. And that's why I kind of compared that community to femcells, because it's low key giving femcell energy. I don't see the harm in someone, having a specific type or a preference visually. Like, so, a lot of women, they want taller guys, and that's their prerogative. Some men prefer, women who are in shape. That's their prerogative. I just feel like when it comes to dating and someone's personal preference, I don't think people have the right to try to police and shame them out of liking what they like. I want to also call out the hypocrisy too with this. We see this with the body positivity community. It's like you're okay when a man likes bigger women, but he can't like slim women, or that's discriminating. And we see this too with a lot of chocolate women, the hypocrisy. It's like it's only colorism when he prefers a lighter skinned woman, but if he prefers you, oh, it's not colorism and it's okay. And this is why we compare it to femcell behavior and trying to just basically pressure people into wanting you.
Big ideas don't come easy. But when you get one, use that moment of clarity.
Someone's dating.
So this take it okay. I'm gonna say part of me wants to like dress it up because this is what like the YouTuber in me likes to do. But quite honestly, like I feel like there's nothing to explain as that it's a cop out. I feel like although that can be explained away by certain women and certain women's actions, you definitely see haters in all skin tones, like literally contributing the colorism content simply to darker skinned women not wanting lighter skinned women to be liked. I do think that that is harmful. Like that's harmful. Now, do I think that there are certain people within the within the community that may have those upper undercover motives? I can't answer to that. I don't know them. I don't know them by name. I never ran across their channel. I never watched any YouTuber that I felt like secretly harbored any hate towards a particular race, demographic of people for whatever reason that was. Like I just, that's never been my experience. So when they say that, although I can understand like that's a very surface level answer. I mean, it covers the stereotype that unambiguous black women are jealous of MLS women for whatever attribute that they believe is more worthy in the woman community. I also feel like you're ignoring the plot, and that's why, because this was simply responding to my video, I have to say like that's not what my video was about at all. Um it never said that men should not be able to like who they want to. I actually acknowledge men preferring interracial relationships, being allowed to pursue that. But clearly, we're not talking about just interracial relationships, people being in those. We're talking about the rhetoric or the hatred that some of these people can spill out on the outside. So, of course, that was like her response. And I guess we can pull more of it. What, but I do want to show y'all what my original video was because she is responding essentially to my video. So I want to show y'all like the video and then just give a little bit of the synopsis, tell y'all what I've been up to, just, talk. Y'all know how it be. Just talking, just doing my big one. Blunt girly. I'm so glad that Chrissy kind of responded to this so I could make my video. So Blunt Girly made a video talking about how dark skinned women put light skinned women on a pedestal based on talking about how dark skinned men or light skinned men aren't attracted to black women, right? Or most men. That's what they said, right? This is a colorism topic. I just wanted to let y'all know. And Chrissy, she was name calling a lot of BWE influencers, y'all. She really was. And Chrissy was name dropped. And I was like, is Chrissy gonna respond? Is Chrissy not gonna respond? Because y'all know Chrissy, she don't always respond to everything, but I didn't have those problems. I had already found Chrissy by that point. So I was already up on game. You know what I mean? So I do think that black men for a long time have said and have told you guys what they prefer about the loud men, the men with options, the men who speak, the spokespersons of these black communities, black. And what I mean by the spokespersons, like the men that these guys really flock to, like the Kevin Samuels, like the Tommy Sotomayor's, like these types of dudes that come into relevancy because they are the figurehead for these black men, where they're able to get off all their hatred, all their misogyny, all in one like fail swoop. And although it doesn't it represents the quote unquote black man that doesn't fall into the Pookie and Ray Ray stereotype, they hate that. Don't call no black man a Pookie or no Ray Ray. They can't stand that. But I'm talking about like these types of men who these dudes pretty much flock to. Like, even if it's a regular everyday guy, he's not on YouTube, he's not on, any of these apps or anything like that. He's more than likely heard rhetoric coming from these people. And a lot of the rhetoric coming from these mainstream figureheads is somewhat tied back to colorism. Like, you could just see, or you can hear the undertones of devaluing certain people based off of perceived features. And I think as women, we do that quite naturally. Like, I think depending on the type of girl you are, because there are different type of women out there are women who prioritize an aesthetic. So when it comes down to their friends or like their close proximity, the aesthetic matters first. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a good person or what have you, that's fine and dandy, but you have to be able to fit into what the look is. And I know men to be the same way, especially when men feel like they've leveled themselves up, they're making money, and they should be able to, they can afford the woman that they truly want. When we turn around and see the woman that the man truly wants, they're allowed to have that preference. But sometimes I wonder, like, okay, so was all that hate, was all that vitriol that you were spilling prior to, were you just spilling all that hate? Let's show. Because, like, y'all just, men, like, we're going to just show a Tommy, because that's the thing, right? And that's why she's just ugly, right? The ugly black woman trope is so harmful, because the problem with it is, quite frankly and quite honestly, you're painting everybody into one brush, and you're also making them responsible for the outside community's hatred. Like, you really are. So, like, see this. Does it show my screen yet? Okay. Men like Tommy Sotomayor, what is he? Dark-skinned black man. Kevin Samuels, what was he? Dark-skinned black man. Just start naming people in the comments. Who else have you got caught saying colorist stuff? Not just rappers, but people who literally, like the average everyday black man, gravitates to tell their news. The same way we got Chrissy, these men, they also have their influencers that they like to show too. And sometimes their influencers say hateful things. Now, I won't say that everything Tommy Sotomayor said was like, I feel like certain things are just common sense. But I do believe that when it comes to the targeting, the even down to some of the people, how certain YouTubers do their thumbnails, I could tell what type of message they're trying to give off to the audience, like what type of hate train they're trying to get started. Does that make sense? Like, I hope that makes some sense. What is a time? See, Tony Sotomayor, like, he really isn't my generation of like Man I Watch, we really like grew up on Kevin Samuels for the most part. Hey Gigi, how are you? Hi. So yeah, that's why I was making a video, is because black men definitely have been participating in colorism just as well as non-black women, non-black people, whatever else you want to blame. Like, we can't just sit here and say like, oh, it's the insecure women, like they're insecure for no reason, like they didn't hear this, like, or then we'll just put it off on the other women. Well, you're insecure because women are making you insecure. Look, listen to this. Men can be just as cruel, if not crueler, than the men, like than the women. Like, men can be very cruel, especially if they're not getting quote unquote the reaction that they want. So I say that to say I didn't like Blunt Girlies. Like, I didn't agree. It's not like I didn't like it. I just knew that it didn't involve everybody in the story. It simply makes black women, in my opinion, responsible for the world's hatred instead of making the world responsible for their hatred against black women. You know what I mean? And that's why I can't stand that, because women like Blunt Girly, and then I'm going to play a little bit of like just my recording, because I wanted to make a video, but I just don't have time to do that, just being for real, for real. So I might as well just put it on a live stream and be done with it. Like, women like her, they are super empathetic towards men and their plights, other non-black women in their plights, but for one reason or another, they just don't associate with their own plight publicly. That is, they publicly don't associate with their own plight, which makes sense. That's fine if that's a strategy for you, but don't act as though that plight is just not valuable. Not only is it seen as not valuable, you're also trying to discourage dark-skinned black women from speaking out about their full experiences, not just experiences with other women, but their experiences with men too. And that is covering for the men, in my opinion. That's having capes for men. So that's just my opinion. But I'm gonna like play a little bit of what I was talking about and then show some of the videos, because my analysis, simply put, was just, hey, there's two sides to other coins. I do think that there are women who are insecure and then they speak on colorism with a little bit more of a jaded way of thinking. And so that's why it doesn't come as clear. It doesn't come out concise. You know, they're not actually pulling from scenarios that are balanced. So in those ways, what did Gigi say? Gigi said the exoticals want to cry about their experiences while downplaying dark-skinned black women's experiences. Well, and that's what we're going to get on to. The reason why the exoticals are able to do this is because they have the permission of black women. Like, regardless of, Blunt Girly considers herself chocolate. So, like, other dark-skinned black women, and that's why, even though we can address the exoticals, like, the problem is way deeper than the exoticals. This happens within like the black woman sphere all the time, where if there's two dark-skinned women in the room, you know, both of them can't get along for whatever reason, just because one has to be better, quote unquote. You have people that they're so afraid of stereotypes. They're so afraid of being labeled as strong black woman, independent black woman, that they will go just so anti to the point where it doesn't even make any sense. And they're still speaking from jaded points of views. So I do think that there are dark-skinned women who are speaking on it. And these are the women who, you know, you'll see them on TikTok. You'll see them. Like, it's nothing, like, I think Blunt Girly was clocking it at that point. You'll see them on TikTok, and they clearly have other things going on in their life and in their personality and their, you know, in their look and aesthetic that may need some work, but they will attribute it straight to dark-skinned women. And then that way, when we speak as pretty dark-skinned women who, look, it is what it is. I'm just going to tell you how people treat dark skin, because colorism is a thing. Like, racism is a thing. I'm going to tell y'all how people react to my skin tone. People want to say, no, 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 no. It's just because you're ugly. No, if you feel like it's okay to treat ugly people poorly, then that is on you. Like, that's not something I tell my strategists. You don't treat, like, although I do understand that undesirable women tend to just be haters just naturally, I don't say go out your way and bother ugly women. No, I don't speak on ugly women on my channel. Do you be seeing ugly women on my channel? I don't have anything to say. I don't go out of my way to paint all black women in one light, so much so that we all have to be fat and overweight and ugly for you to hear what we're saying. And then you come out with the narrative that it's still our fault because we're fat, we're ugly, and it's this and that. So then when dark skinned women like me come out and say, nope, I benefit. Nope, I'm pretty, but I still be having issues with my own community because they like to carry hatred in their hearts and they won't let go of it. Then people want to sit here and act like, no, it's just because you're just like these other ugly black women who are insecure. No, that's not the truth. And that's not me. And that's not the strategist. So the reason why I'm responding is because Blunt Girly, she tried it. She really did. She thought that she was going to come on here and paint me as defeatist by not adding my clips in, by basically stating what I said, but like half stating it and coming to a half baked conclusion. I get it. YouTube, you can get but so many ideas down in 1 second, but still, if you misrepresent me, I'm going to clock you every time. So that's what the girls don't like. They don't like that I be seeing everything. It's the same in the light skin community, though. Women just don't root for each other in general, I think. I see that too, girl. We're going to talk about that because I saw this exotical and one of my subscribers wanted me to do a video about it. And actually, I'll save it towards the end. I will respond just because Gigi brought this up. But I will see, like, they'll say that dark-skinned black women have hierarchical thinking. But I see that amongst the light-skinned women, too. So I saw this one exotical creator. She's going off on, oh, you guys aren't exoticals. You're just light-skinned. Oh, y'all aren't actually attractive, blah, blah, blah. I don't disagree with her. I'm just saying, dang, that's crazy. I thought there was no hierarchical thinking. I thought thinking that you're better than average or ugly women is sad. Like, I just thought that was like, I don't know. I thought we were better than that as a society, So when I see that the hierarchical thinking, even within the light skin community, because you have certain light skin girls who they benefit from featureism, colorism, and texturism. So that means they have the looser hair, they have the quote unquote keener features, and then they have the light skin on top of that. And then you have like some of my monoracial light skin sisters. They light skin. You can tell they're phenotypically monoracially black. They are light skin and they don't benefit from texturism or colorism. And you can see how they even within a quote unquote community basis, even women love to separate themselves. Like they just need to find a way to say, no, this is the difference. So if my nose is a little bit more smaller than you, that means I avoid all of these problems that the strategic feminine is calling out on her channel, right? That doesn't apply to me. I call out light skins, dark skins, and those in between because if you're wrong, you're wrong. Yeah. And the problem with a lot of the girls this is the problem with the girls, right? They really have gone around believing this so much so that they think they bold enough to say this on the internet now, recorded and all. They record themselves, click stop, and then they repeat it, edit the video, and post it. And I'm like, dang, like you really think that was appropriate to say? So let's continue on. What are we gonna do? We're gonna let Blunt Girly continue on with what she was saying about, can a guy just not be into you? Of course, men cannot be into you, but what men cannot do, and this is what I'm calling attention to, the men who I'm referring to are the men who denigrate black women publicly. And then privately, we can only call out the ones that we know who do it publicly. But I'm talking about those men who actively go out of their way to make their like black dark-skinned women in their vicinity lives harder on purpose, just by way of harassment and by way of being essentially self-hating. We're not just talking about the men. Okay, I know. I'm just gonna finish what she said, and then I'm also gonna move on to what I saw, because one of my subscribers, she wanted me to make the video, so I'll just probably add it into this live stream because she was coming for so many people. I just don't want to like start the video and then never come back to what I was talking about, And if anybody is in the chat and y'all have something to say, let me know who is in here, who is not in here, who's watching. And let me know what other videos you want to do. You can send it to my email.
Dating choices does not need to be a political stance. I don't think there should be shaming words like calling men colorists for preferring what they prefer. Or even if a man, prefers somebody who's slim, we shouldn't call that fat phobic. You know, like, why are we shaming someone's dating choices? How is that harming you? Now, and what can harm you, well, if you get job opportunities, for example, because of your skin complexion, that's colorist. But like, if a black man is into light skinned women, how does that affect you? There's so many other men, black men, that are into chocolate women. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Everybody is entitled to like what they like. And there should not be shaming words, but black men are colorist. You know, I really started thinking, like, wait, why is there even a shaming word for what someone prefers to date? Like, that whole concept just doesn't make sense to me. Like, for someone's dating preference should not be some political stance. It's none of your business, quite frankly, what some man, prefers. How is that any of your business?
Okay, and this is going to be what I had said in relation to just a little bit of the preferences that I've seen that men had and what my response to it kind of was. And I think this is kind of what she's responding to. Community black men. I'm talking about these men at mass. They don't say that stuff too much no more. They don't really say colorist jokes no more or I prefer jokes anymore. That's why they have the modern woman trope. Notice how once it became unpopular to start attacking black women for their phenotype, and honestly, guys, here's the thing. I was trying to find all of, because I used to remember, like, I was in middle school and I would remember black men literally dragging black women for the filth. Like, that was it. A black woman couldn't even breathe on Twitter. And there was black men to, I like da 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 this. And it wasn't even just saying like they like white girls or they like this. It was like comparing certain black women to dogs. What happened with Tailbow Rackins? And the thing is, I'm not too shocked about Tailbow Rackins because, quiet as it's kept, a lot of black men have those tweets. A lot of black men, they were either sharing, reposting, or allowed to just say colorist stuff online at one point, and they weren't checked. So this was I was responding to. Like, this meme, I remember seeing this meme in middle school, and this bothered me because, of course, I look closer just right now. These women are beautiful, right? I look closer to the women on the right, mostly her. I look like this one, okay, y'all. Not not really, but I'm just saying, as close to. This is what I look like. So this is what I'm attributing myself. And this, what is this? Notice that the same time that the modern woman trope came out, a girlie came on here almost as if she had no understanding. Look at that. What does it say? Learn the difference. One was called natural, one was called nappy. Learn the difference. So that's why I can't come on here and let y'all just cape for niggas like that. I understand you may want to. I understand because a person may be with you or they may be personally benefiting from dark skinned women. They don't have that much vitriol, but we're not speaking for private, like, little experiences. We're speaking for, first of all, the black community. But even if we wanted to go 10 steps further, you think Indian girls don't go through this? Do you think that Hispanic women don't go through this? I already told y'all. They do. So it's easier to come for the ugly, dark skinned black woman. But when everybody else, and that's why I think what we did wrong was spearhead the colorism content for non-black women as well. That's where we went wrong. We had no business. If we were going to speak about colorism, I think we should have spoke about it for ourselves, because other non-black women, they were like low key, they benefited just by being associated. So if they were dark skinned but non-black, you still benefited from the colorism era, including you and media and all different types of representation, and that's where we went wrong, because these non-black women who also deal with colorism, they're being quiet right now because they also have other quote unquote isms to fall back on. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. So even though a lot of these are universal experiences that most dark-skinned people just deal with, even if it's a dark-skinned person from the Philippines and they may be having not the quote-unquote preferred Filipino features. Now, I'm not Filipino, so I can't tell y'all I know anything about that. I'm just saying I've definitely viewed how different self-hatred in other communities are also like how they show themselves, and also that everyone doesn't harp on what non-black people choose to do and how they choose to delegate, and if they have issues or not with self-hate. They only care about black people. Black people only makes YouTube. Black people only go viral for having quote unquote self-hatred issues. And then you have me as a strategic feminine having to come on here and say, nah, we not, this is 2025. Y'all are gonna have to get ship up or ship out. Because that's what we did wrong. Because we're not the only ones really going through it, but we carried this colorism conversation on our backs. And because dark skinned black women are the face of it, we're associated with it. But you have other non black women benefiting from just the privilege of no longer accepting colorism as an acceptable form of patriarchy. You know, no one is allowed to be colorist out loud anymore. Like that comes with consequences. Does that make sense? So that's what I mean here. No, everyone's allowed to have their preference. No, you're not allowed to pick on the black girl online or otherwise because you have a personal preference for the women on the left side of the screen here. You can like white women and not talk shit about black women. And that's what I get. That's what we're talking about here. So if anybody's talking about anything else, I think that they're missing the plot purposely. So that's just what I think. We're going to skip into it a little bit because y'all know. I want to get into the meat and potatoes.
You can find Culinary Institute of Virginia graduates in restaurants, hotels, resorts, cruise ships, bakeries, food trucks, and
all day about all black men are colorists. In the next breath, they're talking about hypergamy and how they only want a rich millionaire white guy. That's discriminating against 98% of the population.
Okay.
Nobody's taking you seriously.
Okay, stop. The strategic feminine doesn't idolize white boys. Yeah, I know. It's popular that black women do. No, that's not me. I think hypergamy is something that most people don't have to make a word for it. That's why I know that it is correct or proper for women to obtain. But I also don't believe that it should be called anything. I think it should just be called being equally yoked, like the Bible said. But hey, you know, maybe I'm getting too deep into it.
Seriously. It's very clear that you're just bitter and you're a femcel, just trying to pressure people into liking you. You don't even follow the guidelines that you place on other people. Then you'll be open to dating anyone. Don't have a type. Just be open to dating anyone. You know what I mean?
So I think that's weird to say because I actually am somebody who would consider myself to not have a type. I'm more like a person who I need the intellect to match. So yeah, I am somebody who I think the intellect should match. But I also can say that people are allowed to like what they like. That's quite obvious. Some people do have fetishes too, which is understandable. Depending on what the fetishes are rooted in, it can be alarming. I'll say the least. At the very least, men with weird fetishes, I could say is alarming. But what I really want to call focus on, I don't want to spend too much time on this one topic, but what I wanted to call focus on really was how you'll see dark-skinned black women try to do backflips to avoid giving non-black people the responsibility, avoid giving black men the responsibility, and simply say that it's some type of insecurity or bitterness and not properly reading the room. Like they're not properly reading the room here. And I also do believe that because the colorism content has been so saturated, it's hard to weed through like the secure, the black women, the jaded ones, like who's who, what do they believe? Is this one a bitter baby mama? Like what's going on here? Because I do believe too, you be seeing women who be talking stuff about black men and then they be like, but they have like a black kid though. And it'd be like, wait, what? So are you literally just talking to stuff about black men because this is true stuff, or are you just saying that because you have hatred against your baby daddies? You know what I mean? So that is hard to decipher. But what we're not going to do, and this is what we have to stop at, is that we have to stop invalidating other women who look closer to us. What I tell y'all about that dark skin sidekick complex. Okay. Y'all always be the main one sitting there ready to cape and ride for the next group of people and the next demographic for whatever personal reason to make yourself feel better or make yourself seem in a superior light, or even your content or even the advice that you give, when quite frankly is not even covering the surface of what's really going down. If you were really being honest, you would quite frankly say that a colorist society doesn't stop you from living your truth and living your dreams and finding all of those things that you need. And I actually told y'all that. But what I'm not going to do is act like colorist people don't exist because I choose to not be colorist. You know what I'm saying? What I'm not going to do is say, oh, it doesn't bother me that y'all have your preference, when I know it has nothing to do with the preference at all. It actually has to do with the harassment that I face based off of looking how I've looked. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's it. We got to come out and be for real and stop acting like dark skinned black women don't get harassed and singled out slowly because of their phenotype. And women will run to call dark skinned black women ugly if they can, no matter if it's true or not, to simply invalidate the experience and have blinders on so they don't have to relate. Well, that will never happen to me. I have pretty privilege. You know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, some of those women, and some of them are not telling y'all, they have sexualized privilege. It's not just pretty privilege that they're using, okay? Some of those women, they may have a strong way of thinking, but I just can't say that what they're dominating in is true for the average person. And I'm gonna go back to what my ending of the video was, because y'all know how I do. We're gonna read off what one of my subscribers said. Well, this is what he was talking about when he was saying dark skinned black men are the ones who have preferences and stuff. And then this was explaining like the history of seeing dark skinned black men in media just date out
session with, what your skin tone was, or what your phenotype was, or your nose size. Or it's always men that have these like conversations, right? So to me, I understand very like fully that men, especially black men with their own self-hatred identity issues, which are a lot of black monoracial black men, you have men with their own self-hate issues who do prefer lighter skinned women for their own reasons. I know because they're in my family. They'll sit there whenever they see a black woman who they look exactly like. They'll call her ugly. They'll try to go through mental gymnastics to find out why they're not attracted to these black, dark skinned women. And the whole time you pull out the gutter of non-black women that you find. So we're not going to sit here and act like there isn't black men that are colorists, or that there isn't a collective black men who are colorists, or at the very least agree with a colorist black men. So y'all think just because, not my black man, well, my black man loves me. That's fine. Okay, but does your black men defend black women when their homeboys are making fun of them? Are they actually defending us? What I'm trying to say is that self-hating yourself actually has a lot to do with the preferences and relationships that you choose, right? If you feel like the mixed race phenotype is prettier than you, because you see a lot of dark-skinned men, they will run to have light-skinned babies, and that's simply because that's how they want to look. They wish they were light-skinned. They wish they were mixed race, okay? That's want to find a successful man. Probability tells you you're probably going to have an easier time finding non-black successful men. But I don't believe that women, black women, my strategic sisters, have to take on any of this baggage. Literally, I never care about what a man's preference is. Why? Because if you're walking up to me, it never mattered. I'm trying to do all of this stuff for self-hating men. Like, y'all are trying to be the baddest, the best, the homemaker for a self-hating black man. Ain't no reason, ain't no way. Because look at women like Amada Negra, right? She came on here, I'm black, I'm beautiful, I'm proud, right? She did all of that hooping and hollering just for the light-skinned man or the.
So my point of bringing Amada Negra into this is she was trying very hard. Like, this was a part of her brand and her takeover, her marketing, was to put dark-skinned Latinos on the map. Like, she was in America. She was like basically reaffirming their beauty standard in Miami on the show Love and Hip Hop, and that's what she was doing in her first episode ever. But she was doing all of this socially to change the way that the socials of the way of what's the best word to use it? She was trying to change the mind of her community, right? Her Hispanic community, because she said that she felt like even though she looked like the black girls, her culture was the same. She's Afro Latino, she's Dominicana, so she just even though she's growing up in America and she's a black American, like it's a different culture. And even though she is culturally the same or one with the Latinos, she is the black girl nonetheless, and there's still a difference. You know what I mean? So Amada Negra, I'm pretty sure she had that balance. But while she was sitting here worried about, proving to outside parties, did she really even love herself? Because look who she ended up with. Someone who would talk about her in such a way to call her a black B word. Because, and this was what I was trying to say, because, the blunt girlie tried to say that I had said that most men had, liked dark skinned girls out of pity. What I was trying to articulate was how men will play on the insecurities of marginalized groups of people just for their own benefit and gain in the sexual dating marketplace. If that was hard to understand, then I don't think you should be on YouTube. If you couldn't get that, then you shouldn't be on YouTube, because we all know of the times where people were dared to, go talk to somebody who was quote unquote undesirable for whatever reason they were undesirable. And a man would play on that, and that's not saying that that's all men, but I just say, don't sit here and just idolize men who, say they like your phenotype. Let them show you through their actions that they actually adore your phenotype. Not, oh, I'm with you, but you're going to be my come up woman, my first baby mama. And then when I get my money and when I can go ahead and piece up out of here, no. Because that is also something that a lot of dark-skinned and black women, they get caught up in, because they're getting flattered by these men, because these men know the game. They know to newbie and queen you down. I know they know the game already. They're on YouTube just like us. So they know they're not going to be able to be colorist out loud and still get, the girls. They got to switch up the strategy. So I'm just saying, don't be naive. Don't be sitting here out here thinking that listening to all the men, when a lot of them, when you look back at their actions, that'll tell you what they like. That'll tell you what they prefer, not what they say. Because they can raw dog a whole bunch of dark-skinned women, but marry one who don't even look like anything like that. And that woman that he essentially marries or chooses to take care of or chooses to pour money into or invest, that is his preference. Anybody that he plays around with in the meantime and between time, playing with, breadcrumbing, that is also a predator. And that can be signs of a colorist man just playing the game because he doesn't value the dark skin. And there are men who don't value the dark skin. I value my dark skin, but that doesn't mean that everybody values my dark skin in the same way. So I don't understand why the girlie just acted like she couldn't get that. Let me play a little bit of like my recording, and then I'm gonna play what Blunt Girlie had. Actually, let me play her recording, and then I'll get my recording together. Okay. So yeah, this is her response to my subscriber, quote unquote.
Like they focus on all of the celebrities or cookies. They go out of their way to see like, oh, their type is light skinned chicks or Latina chicks or white chicks or whatever like that. But then they always conveniently ignore the other celebrities that, are with beautiful chocolate women like LeBron James and etc. They ignore those. Like even when celebrities do prefer chocolate women, oh, it's not good enough. Let's look at his income. Oh my gosh, he's not good enough. He's only making $500,000 a year. He's not a millionaire. Oh my gosh, well, he's not even tall. Well, shoot, he's not even perfect. He's not the perfect man, so it's not good enough. It's like you're dedicated to the self-loathing, nobody wants me role.
Every great journey begins with a giant step. At Richard Land College, that step can transform your life.
And I seen one person had said like, a lot of men, they just prefer dark-skinned women out of pity. Yep, this is what a dark-skinned woman was telling her audience. She was telling her audience that men are usually not genuinely into them. Like, tell me you're projecting because men are not into you without telling me you're projecting. And even
okay, because this is her directly coming for me, I just have to address this. This is what I said, actually. Let me go to the video and show y'all what I said, because that's not what I more or less, she's missing pieces. Sorry, I'm finding it, y'all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and
Eternity of HE double hockey sticks where colorists act self-hating man. Why do we do this to ourselves, women? Why do we sit here and try to have all of these standards and try to tell it may be around? So it's just important to bring.
I think this is where it is. Sorry, y'all. Okay, guys. I do apologize. I thought it was playing the entire time. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna go ahead and play, because y'all, it's hot in here. Okay, I'm gonna read some of these comments. So the bitter baby mama trope has backfired on all women. Let's normalize calling out bitter baby daddies then. Okay, clock it. Instead of stigmatizing women when they actually stay and take care of the children. Yeah, I think the problem is, and this is something that my mom will tell me a lot, like it's so easy to become a baby mama. It's like anything could happen. Death, sickness, famine, anything. Like it's so easy for a woman to get left with the responsibilities of the children that, you know, what you try to do is you try to make it, what they say, like bring shame back. Part of bringing shame back was we are going to no longer clap and smile and grin when we know people are going down the wrong path. So I understand you're not trying to just outright congratulate or celebrate two casual people making a lifelong commitment, but I will say, it's too hard out here, because some men cheat, lie, beat women, and they also have children. So you be calling out the baby mamas, but it's so easy to become a baby mama. And even if you get married, right, you could be a married single mom. I don't think that it cancels out the benefits of being legally married. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I definitely think that it's a lot more tricky to find and produce a happy, healthy household. People are acting like it's just so easy to raise a happy, healthy family. But if that was the truth, everybody would be doing it. You see that it's a lot more difficult. And most people just don't make the best decisions. Like, I hate to be the one to say it. Most people, it's hard for them to make good decisions. And that's why you see, the casual baby making process just be normalized. So stigmatizing baby mama culture was trying to make women try to go down the traditional route as far as relationships again. But the problem is, and this is why I can't stand women like Blunt Girly in a sense, because like you're sitting here and now saying that you should have to, as a dark-skinned black woman, because he actually likes chocolate women, not grade him just as effectively as you would grade other men that you have access to, and choose the best one for all intents and purposes to have a nicer, easier life. You're going to sit here and say that black women should not practice hypergamy. Are you sitting here saying that you're on the side of black men having preferences and black women not supporting and practicing hypergamy? You don't make any sense. And this is why Chrissy said that you need to be careful, celebrating other dark-skinned women like that. This is what she means, because they're not true allies. Because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So you should be happy with the guy making $50K a year. Nothing, there's anything wrong. That's my tax bracket. But if you're making over that, that makes no sense to put that out to an audience of 10,000 people who that may not be their scenario, you know? And I also think that even me just being someone who makes that, that's not something that I should settle for. If I have access for better, I'm definitely going to say get better. And if that is better and it doesn't look like you, right on. So it's important to have a nice family. So money helps that, stability helps that. Having someone who's willing to work and has a work ethic and is crafty, like that is very important. It's not just about having a job. You know what I'm saying? People have jobs, people got money, but are they disciplined? Do they save? And saying that women should just go with whoever and forget, like, don't have criteria, just choose a man because he prefers your skin tone. No, that's not what we're doing. That's just not how I roll. I like who likes me and I grade them effectively. And money isn't everything, but we live in the real world. So we're not going to act like it's not. When bills is due, I would rather deal with somebody who has an easier time at things rather than struggling, with fences every month. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal opinion. They know this, but these types of creators are focused on privileges. So if they're getting mistreated, it's just because you're fat and ugly. But who made it okay to mistreat fat and ugly people? You can't mistreat, fat people. You can't do it. I've never seen it done. Not in real life, I just never seen that. So who's out here like it's not okay to mistreat somebody because you don't feel like you're attracted to them. And if society doesn't feel like they're attracted to the person, that's society's problem. That's not the person. You still treat them with kindness and respect. But when a lot of these, oh, well, you're attractive, you're ugly, is based in racism, and you can trace it back to it ism, a lot of it is kind of white centered in a way. It always is going to be with you if you focus keener features, lighter skin, and a certain hair texture as quote unquote the beauty standard, and then saying, oh, well, women who look like outside of that, unambiguous black women, they're just mad because they're not the beauty standard. Well, if that's the rhetoric, what are you really supporting? And that's why I don't support that. I think that for us as unambiguous black women just coming in like real close and stuff, we really are considered. It depends, right? Because there's certain type of, for me, I'll say this, for me, I feel like I really am considered gorgeous, but I also feel like the black community would never consider me in the same ways that non-black people would, as far as the beauty hierarchy, right? Like non-black people's beauty hierarchy and then black people's beauty hierarchy are two totally different things. So even though we can say, oh, these people are ugly, well, that's not what the other people said. So is it just our self-hate that's making us think that our fellow black people are ugly? Or, should we take a closer look in the mirror and figure out what's going on? Because to sit there and call somebody, if they're not deformed in the face, if they're not overtly overweight or overtly underweight, like anybody with any like ailments or like seeable differences in appearance, if they're just a monoracial black woman and you're calling them ugly, part of me do be feeling like that'd be anti-black low key. And a lot of y'all be getting away with it. And Gigi said, what? She wanted his light-skinned babies. Amada, she wanted his light-skinned baby. She has a lot of trouble or a lot of trauma from the colorism in the Latino community. Well, that's clear as day. I see the same thing with Keke Palmer. Like and even Sky Jackson, like beautiful chocolate women who they also participate in wanting light-skinned children. And they do it like on purpose. I'm not talking about people who just fall in love with people who don't look like them. I just mean like they sought out certain features and that's why they mate with them. Like those breeding types of folks, I think all breeders are weird. Like those people who be, because even they say black men and white women, they do that sometimes where they'll have a breeding kink and they just want to see how many, like, I think that's a little strange. Humans are humans. Like, I get it. Sometimes they come out really cute and chinky. They have a mixture of features. But I think that's strange to feel that way. They're not puppies, People are not puppies. Babies aren't puppies. So I don't have that way of thinking. I personally, I prefer my children to look closer to me just because if I have a daughter, I want to be able to show her the ropes a lot better. And I just think I would be able to show a dark skinned little chocolate girl like me the ropes a whole lot better than and serve her better. And it also would be inner child healing for me because, girl, when I have a baby, my baby's going to be popping, y'all. Like, if she a girl, she going to be spoiled. And I'm just going to let her just so she could just be the chocolate version of me. That's the it girl, because me personally, I am me the strategic. I am the nerd girl. Yes, I'm the nerd. So even though it's the aesthetics too, like Black community prioritizes the baddie aesthetic. So even if you're not unattractive, you're just not considered the upper echelon of beauty because Black beauty is very glamorized. It's very done up. It's very extra with the extensions and then the nails and the add-ons. We're like us as Black Americans and then Black people too, we're just known for that in our culture. So people who are just, regular hair, regular nails, short polish, it's the aesthetic that matters too. And that's another thing that people gotta clock. Like a woman like Cash Doll, she fits like the hood rich aesthetic. So, and she's a sex bomb. So she doesn't have the same experience as the average Black girl who doesn't sexualize herself, And that's important to know too. And having light skinned babies, I mean, you can do what you want. It's a free country. If you want to have babies because of like you want them to look a particular way, I think it's weird, but people could do what they want. I just think that's strange. Amala Nega is the most beautiful Black woman I've ever seen, and she also has experienced colorism. Yeah, I think she's very gorgeous. Yes, she's gorgeous. I love that when she came on, she was very unapologetic about what she was coming on Love and Hip Hop to do, and it's just kind of unfortunate to see that she's going down, by way of light skinned man and him playing her on TV. And then again, Amada has went through colorism and texturism. And so you said Blunt Girly isn't light skinned. What is her claim to the exotical community? I don't know. Y'all would have to ask the BG that herself. I'm pretty sure it's just like, honestly, exotical is more of a mentality than anything. So if you feel like you can save the world by pretty privilege and that you can simply like change your life by fixing your pretty privilege, you're cool to roll with them. There really isn't no claim. Like the isms, and criteria, which is a distraction from the fact that this was a Black centered thing and that certain Black women were thinking that they were better than other Black women due to like minute differences, like the smallest of, like some women would consider themselves an exotical because their eyes were more slanted, or they feel like their hair had more of a wave, or they feel like their nose was more of a button nose than considered like a negroid flat nose. I see a lot of y'all playing into featureism too. Like y'all are just using women with these big wide noses. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they're playing on the fact that even though I'm dark skinned, I don't have these same features that would have me be unambiguous. And I don't think that's true because that's not what unambiguous means. But, at one point we were all just Black, but you can see the Black girls, they're fighting right now. So that's why they just claiming whatever. I don't get it. They expect Black women to be grateful for the bare minimum. Every race or phenotype of woman wants to be adored in media. Why is it wrong for Black women? Because at first, the Black women, representation was slim pickings. So a lot of lighter skinned or these quote unquote exoticals at mixed Black women were able to be our representation unchecked because simply men were like more so in control of the image and women weren't, behind the scenes as much. They were simply vixens or talents. And a lot of women benefited from looking closer to these representations of us. And certain women just didn't have the confidence to stand up and stand out in their own. You know who did? Lauryn Hill. And this is why I love Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, she came out unambiguously Black, wearing her locks in a time where you did not see women look like Lauryn Hill in hip hop. And she came in, she sung her song, she was the best, and she told Black women to wake up and, stop wearing, what'd she say? Wear hairs like the Koreans, get stuffed by Europeans, and we supposed to be the beauty standard. And that's why I don't believe a lot of that stuff either, because you see them say, oh, we got pretty privilege, but is it pretty privilege or is it weave privilege? Is it pretty privilege or is it makeup privilege? Not saying that you can't use it to your advantage, but a lot of it is not natural. It's not based off of Afrocentricity. It doesn't have to be, but you're not going to down the Afrocentric aesthetic. And then while you walk around, safe and not having, people do that type of stuff. If they feel like curly hair, they don't like it. There will be dark skinned women who they will straighten their hair just to separate themselves from the women that wear the fro, because that is their only difference. Oh, I'm a straight natural. My hair is down my back. They feel like, oh, I'm not like those bald headed scallywags across the street. So Black women always have hierarchical thinking. And that's why I hate to come, like, you really can't even come from the exoticals, because we do it in our own camp all the time. And now it's just being called out. Like, you have classy women that think they're better than ratchet women. It just happens all the time. Like, that's just stuff that girls do. She's cool with their leader. Diabolical is always kicking, and yes, girly, y'all know. And one thing about it, she is not giving up on that sweet connection. That she will say whatever, even if she doesn't 100% agree with exotical, she won't like mention that in public. And I think that is smart, for a business relationship. But I just peep it too. I peep it too. Okay, so are y'all ready for the video, or can I cuz I've been here. Unambiguous was supposed to be a Black person, but now they're just analyzing our features and literally, they're just measuring noses at this point. They're literally, and another thing too is they're literally manipulating their features to not look a particular way. Like, they're using heavy contour. They have heat damaged hair, so you don't get to see their real hair texture. Like, stuff like that. They're using skin lightening products, so they look a little bit lighter in photos, or they use a sunlit filter. Like, they're just doing a lot of weird things to distract from what they actually look like. I didn't think that we was gonna be, doing this, because the girls, they're pulling out rulers. They're like, well, my nose. So it's I don't know. It's messy. I don't know what else to say. Of course, yes, Lauryn Hill is a beauty. Yes, she is. She's gorgeous. To me, like, I don't even understand like using the word exotic to describe a person and their beauty. I never heard that growing up. No one ever said like, oh, you just look so exotic. I do remember I had a friend, she would wear contacts. She would. And we were both the same skin tone, but we didn't have the same features. But she was wearing these contacts, and someone stopped and asked her, like, where are you from? Now, this lady won't from nowhere, but she would say, like, oh, I'm from Jamaica. Da, da, da. I guess her father was Jamaican. We're not sure how true that is. Just something that was said. Now, they said that off of her wearing these contacts. So they would separate certain like beauty and compartmentalize. So they think this is beautiful, like this individual feature, and that carries some girls. So that's why you see the industry for beauty and cosmetics, it's an ever-flowing business, because women are always going to be willing to feed into insecurities and pay to change themselves. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, I think that Lauryn Hill was beautiful. Like, I just think that she was beautiful. I think to call her exotic is to take away for that she was Black. And I think she looks like average Black girls on the street. Like, she looks like us. We are beautiful. She was beautiful. And I don't have to put anything in front of it or behind it to appreciate Lauryn Hill's beauty. You know what I mean? That's just me. But that's just me. Like, that's just, I'm not saying, I just know that the exotical context has changed the word so much that I want to be very careful what I say, because I don't think that unambiguous Black women have to like lump onto any title to get their just due as far as media representation. Like, that's just, we have to step away from that, because we do it a lot.
And I'm gonna blur his name for privacy issues, but his icon It was him and his beautiful chocolate wife in the icon, and he said, "No pity here. My wife is a dime." Exactly. I see black men make comments like that all the time. I just read a comment just now.
These are all on my channel, by the way. And what we also have to like call it to attention is he was featured in my original video. Like, this isn't just someone who came on, like, he was featured in my video. And he also happens to be, you know, someone who looks a little bit different than he doesn't look like the chocolate wife. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a role. I recognize, y'all, that in relationships, opposites tend to attract anyway. Like, you usually see a darker person and a lighter person be together. I usually see that. Like, that's just something that I see all the time. It'd be rare to see like two people of the same complexion be together in today's day. Interracial love has really just came through, and it's mixed in, especially where I'm from. It's just like the culture about here. But let's be honest, let's be for real. We already said that there are black men, and he was one of them, who likes black women. But we're calling out not him, we're calling out the other men outside of my community. Clearly, I'm a chocolate girl myself, so if someone prefers chocolate women, they might listen to chocolate women on YouTube. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the type of men that they like us, you see that they marry us, they have babies with us, they provide for us, they're out loud with us. And that's the difference between, you know, every and all black men that she's trying to attribute, and then this guy who's a subscriber of mine. He's actually vested into the black community. As far as other men, they're not vested. They're, you know, playing, they're cordial, they're casual. And that can run down black women's quote unquote dating worth too, especially if you have kids with them and stuff like that. So be careful. Be careful.
Where a black man was like, you know, light skinned women are beautiful, but dark skinned women make my heart melt. You know, they ignore comments like that to fit their narrative. But yeah, she told her audience that, you know, black men only prefer dark skinned women out of pity. And, you know, a lot of these women that think that they're the authoritative source on men, it's always men having to correct them in their comment section. How embarrassing. Imagine thinking you know men. Or imagine projecting and men don't really want you, and then you're recruiting other women, and then men are like, not really. You know, so yeah, she told her audience men only prefer dark skinned women out of pity. And, you know, I was even around my man playing this, and even my man like made a cringe face like, that's disgusting. Why would you say that? That's not the truth. Y'all just walk around saying the most insecure things. You let the most disgusting and insecure things fly out of your mouth. You're dang if you do, dang if you don't. So if a dark skinned man is into you, oh, he's fetishizing you, oh, he's pitying you, oh, it's not genuine. At this point, that is not men's fault. That's how you feel about yourself at this point. Okay? That's my thing. Stop putting it all on the men. Now it's you. Because even when men do like you, oh, they don't make enough money. Oh, it's this, it's that. You just can't, your brain cannot accept that a man could be into you. It can't accept it. And it's sad. Like the excuses you guys come up with to kind of convince yourself out of a man.
Okay, and this is what I'm going to say to that. And this is what I'm going to finish off with. My experience, quite frankly, keeping it cute with y'all, cordial. I don't think that anybody sitting here playing crazy is, look, y'all know what colorism is. Y'all recognize it when y'all see it. Everybody is very, very, very aware. Now, it doesn't affect everybody. I don't believe that colorism is something that is like crippling. And I don't think that's something that keeps anyone from living their life. But I also will say that it does have an effect on how I view just my own community, knowing that that is an ism that lives alive and well. It does make me not feel safe around, you know, just certain demographics to people, because you never know like who's healed, who's not, who's learned about this type of stuff and who hasn't. And then you also never know like who are the girls, super close behind trying to humble the next girl for saying their experience. Quite frankly, I done seen lots of men now debut with the baddest chicks on the market. And then I also see men, they're with women that may not match that aesthetic, quote unquote, but they're with them for come up purposes. They're with them for like bitter baby mama purposes. And that's not to say that that's all men, but y'all see it. So to say that you don't see certain people with other folks out of pity, you see women with men out of pity all the time and you can clock it. Like, oh, boom. But because it is about race, it is a little bit touchy. Do I think all women will deal with this? Most times, honestly, colorist men, they avoid me. They don't date women that look like me. I'm pretty much safe now because everybody has freedom to choose who they want to be with. This would be more of a problem if like interracial dating was illegal and then men were forced to be with us and now they really weren't attracted. But that's not something that happens now. So, quite frankly, I think that the men actually should facilitate a place and the women in their own spaces. We'll talk about that later, but just to finish up on the men, I really think they should facilitate not only a place of peace, but actively come out against the men who are saying these types of things out loud in public instead of having a fucked up face towards the girl for saying what she said. Like, I just clock how y'all actually are acting towards women that you guys think that you're above, and y'all can think that you're above these certain women due to your own faulty calendar or ruler of expectations, but it still exists. Does that have to be my strategist as problems? No, but I tell y'all to be aware. Don't ever be a come up woman, the first baby mama. Like that's what I'm trying to stop. Like, y'all don't got to do that bit of it. Really find men that think that you are the absolute beauty standard. And that's not something that can be faked. Like, that's not something that can be shooed away. You have nothing. Men that have the utmost respect for chocolate women, you can see that. They act like that. And they usually are vested in the chocolate women. You know what I'm saying? So all these other, so also supposedly all the men love chocolate, but we don't see all vested with chocolate. And if they're not vested with chocolate, they also can't talk stuff about the women having like dating criteria for the rest of the men. Because quite frankly, no one else has anything else to say when there's any other type of woman having dating criteria. Like, you know what I mean? So that's just that. But Chrissy told y'all to date out. That's what Chrissy told y'all to do. And I will say that I don't know. I don't have much experience in that at all. So I don't say that that's something that is a proficient verified strategy by the like strategist. I wouldn't say it's approved. I'll just say that if you are interested in black men, just avoid some of the dust, like some of the dusty community ways of thinking that are just like innately and like drilled into the subconscious of some of these people. Like, you got to be able to clock it and you got to be able to not be with those people, because you can be with somebody who thinks they're above your phenotype or looks down on your phenotype, even though they're messing with you, like that boy Allen with Amara La Negra. But they avoided that part of it. Of course. That's just what I think. What do y'all think? Do y'all agree with me? Do y'all disagree? Tell me what it is. Tell me what it ain't. Maybe, but you can find a foundationally black American woman who looks like a foundationally Africans or Caribbeans, vice versa. A black girl named Gigi, the black girl Barbie. I thought she was foundationally black American, but she's Haitian. What do y'all talk about? So they're talking in the comments. So she says, do you think that if they had support from BWE spaces, they wouldn't have to sell it to the exoticals? Part of it is that Black women really do not have any invested interest in their own image. You know what I'm like, their full own image. Like, if you pulled away these, like, if we actually posted average Black women beauty that was obtainable, that was, that you see every day, a lot of Black women wouldn't gravitate towards that imagery. Not even if they're thinking about it or not, they just wouldn't. And then you would have the Carissa Shields, and then she had Ryan Destiny playing her, even though Ryan Destiny is multiracial. She's dark skinned, but she is multiracial. It's just showing like a particular preference for, even women have their own preferences. So you're telling, and this is another way we can show it. So you're saying there wasn't a monoracial, ambiguous Black woman actress who was willing to play Carissa Shields in her boxing movie? But who did she go with? She went with Ryan Destiny, because she may prefer Ryan Destiny's features even with the dark skin. So she didn't got a woman that looked exactly like her, same bone structure. Clarissa has a little bit more of a square face. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan has a little bit more softer features, softer, round, So it didn't make any sense. But of course, this is a movie. But this is what I mean when I say people would say they're Black and proud, but the features, like, it's a feature blindness. It's not necessarily the skin tone, but it's feature blindness. And that's just what I think. Hi, everybody. I've been on here for 1 hour and 6 minutes. So what she said? Saying that Lauryn Hill is exotical, I didn't really agree. Because, like I said, Black women vary. That's why I brought up Gigi the Black Barbie, saying that exotical doesn't work with Lauryn. I got on here 1 hour and 16 minutes ago. So that's just been me responding to that video. I'm done with that. I think, honestly, I think it's better that Black women don't have those types of ways of thinking. Like, I have this way of thinking because I've experienced colorism within the sexual dating marketplace. So I can say that. But if you guys never experienced it, right on. I'm not hating on y'all. I think that is very good. I think that we should give birth to more babies and more children who they don't have these types of problems. They don't think of the world in that way. That way it'd be a little bit more easier to bypass the hate. But what I'm saying is, I came around in a generation when we weren't taught that. I was taught to love my Black brothers and sisters, and I really did. I did like Black boys. So when they would say this like colorist, anti-colorist stuff to me when I was younger, it would really bother me. It really would hurt my feelings, because I actually was attracted to the boys who would say this color stuff about me. So blah blah blah. So that is just a little bit of what happens. And my subscriber has also called attention to this as well, something that she casually ignored in my video. Of course, we can just acknowledge the men who like chocolate women, but we also have to acknowledge the men who know what it is to be a chocolate boy themselves. You know what I mean? She says, exactly, I'm with a mixed man now, and I usually dated light-skinned or mixed Black men. I really haven't had any issues with them, and I'm also not worried about my future child's skin tone and hair. Perfect. That's what we like to see. And this is it. He says, here's the truth coming from a Black man. If you are an attractive Black woman, whether dark or light-skinned, you have Black men approaching you all the time. It's just that dark-skinned Black women obsess over colors, men not wanting them. A lot of Black men go through phases. From 11 to 24, they perceive light-skinned Black women as more attractive, but that's just white supremacy programming. They have closer European features. I guarantee most Black men in late 20s and older don't even want to deal with light-skinned women because they're extremely arrogant and entitled. Now, I don't believe that bit neither. I be seeing men with all types of women, and they look like all types of ways. I think a man is going to go with what he can afford. That's what I think. Quiet as is kept. I think a man goes with what he can afford. Now he always is gonna get like a little bit better, but I definitely think that when there's a match made in heaven, like there's a relationship, there's a bond, usually that's based off of a whole bunch of factors, not just physical attraction. But when you do see like just blatant disrespect of certain phenotypes coming from a certain demographic, we have to question why they do that. So that's just what I say. That's just what I thought. I experienced it in the Caribbean. Whenever you got dark, it would be an issue. The boys didn't like darker girls despite all of us being dark. Girl, yes. Oh my gosh, I remember. Okay. Like when I tell y'all, black men has always came for my femininity. It's been crazy because usually, there was this video coming out where they were like, it's okay to be dark skinned but not have a wide nose, and I just didn't click that because I was like, girl, I'm not watching that. But I guess she was going to talk about dark skinned women being dark skinned and not benefiting from futurism either. And I just think that you would notice that within like not even just colorism, like it would be like features too. Like the more Eurocentric features, let's say this, right? They may be attracted to you, but not with your curly hair or my hair is coily. But like, like they may think like you may be bypassed on a day-to-day basis with your cute, curly fro. Maybe more so when I was younger, not today's day, but more so when you were younger, like the Afrocentric hair. But then when you straighten it, everybody's eyes got wide and it's like, oh, but it's like nothing changed. You're just responding to the change. And so that's what I saw. I remember this one boy, he said some mean things. He called me an African booty scratcher. And I was very confused because I'm not African. And that's all I remember thinking was like, we all black American. Why are you singling me out because I'm dark skinned? And we should all be in this together. Like we're black Americans, like I'm not from Africa. I have no connection to the African people's African tribe. I don't know who my tribe was. Why would you single me out as an African American, fundamentally, foundationally black American, and be just simply because of my skin tone? Like I felt like that was super weird for a black boy to do. But yeah, they did this and they were able to get away with it. And now the women are caping for them. And now other ones are trying to act like they don't know. Now I will say there's certain men, they didn't care nothing about what their homeboy said. They liked who they liked, but these are not the men we talk about in the video. I experienced dark-skinned men / black men trying to date me, saying colorist things about other black women. Then when they found out I never dated black men, they start getting texturist. I saw a video, yes. Or when texturism is also something that I feel like bothers me with certain, because most men, they have one or the other. I never see someone who's just straight, texturist, colorist, featurist. That's just a racist in my opinion. But like they'll say little stuff here and there when you're with them, and it kind of puts a drag on the relationship because it's like, dang, do I just like come in here and teach you about your history? Do I have to teach you about your history and why you shouldn't say these types of things, or should I just let it slide? Or no, I get it. A lot of times they'll play on negative stereotypes of black women because they want the black woman that they're with to like perform a little bit harder. I've seen that happen too. I just like the men that appreciate Afrocentricity, not with any conditions or stigmas, just really does appreciate Afrocentricity. They're vested in it. Men like Denzel Washington. Y'all know I love me some Denzel. I grew up loving Denzel Washington. Love men like Denzel. Denzel Washington is very attractive black man. And the thing is, most attractive black men do like attractive black women. Like attractive dudes usually don't have this type of problem, in my opinion. Attractive black boys, like they have no issues with black women. They like us. No, it's because you can't afford the girls that you place them on a pedestal. It's more likely that dark black women is a charity case, not all the time, but I noticed that the man's first baby mama will always be looking toe out the frame. I do notice that a lot. Like when I see somebody's like the person they had their first kid with, they usually do be looking like, like when somebody says you should have left that person in 2019 and stuff like that. Like I do be seeing that a lot. Or then there'll be a running joke amongst men that that's what they'll do. They'll have a first baby's mama who may have more Afrocentric features. And then they have the second wife, third wife, so on and so forth. That's been a stereotype and a trope. That's not like proven science that happens to every dark girl out here. No. And most dark-skinned girls, we avoid self-hate. Like we have an antenna for self-hating men. Self-hating men can't stand confident, dark-skinned, unambiguous black women. If a self-hating man is with any woman, she's more than likely self-hating herself, and then they become a couple. Because then I notice, right, if they're both like a come-up culture type of couple type of situation, then you'll have the woman who's hiding her features. So she's always wearing wigs, lashes, nails, just to, quote unquote, overcompensate for the Afrocentric features. You'll see those same black women gravitate to the black men who maybe they can't, quote unquote, afford their preference. That's what I've heard them admit out of their own mouth. Don't come for the strategic. They can't afford their preference, but they are with the woman who is willing to imitate that preference, quote unquote, by wearing the hair that's not their skin hair texture, by manipulating their features to not be Afrocentric. So that's very important to mention too, because it has more to do, like, hey, like attracts like, in my opinion. And I never liked the black boys, and they would tell me how I'm the exception, and when I rejected them, they got violent and started trying to bully me in school. Black boys would definitely be bullying black girls. A black girl could be minding her business, or a dark-skinned girl literally could be minding her business, and a black boy would go out of the way to be like, well, at least I'm not darker than, and then point to the average dark-skinned girl like in the corner minding her business, being popping. That would happen to me a lot. Like, there was this one time, okay, this happened. This really did happen, y'all. So I was in school and I was in this class. Now, a lot of these are, a lot of this programming is easier to clock in children because a lot of us grow out of it. We get unprogrammed as we get older. But so I happen to have a boyfriend in the class, high school stuff, carry your books around, that type of thing. And we weren't seeing eye to eye. We weren't together. And it caused some confusion in the classroom. And within causing that confusion in the classroom, like, of course, I always, like me, I'm a nerd. So I always dated the nerds. Like I always stuck to my, I was with the nerds. So like the popular black boys, mostly of them were unambiguous, monoracial, type 4 hair, that type of stuff, right? They saw that the two boys were arguing over meat, right? Now that usually don't happen to, like, in the movies. Do you ever see that happen where there's two boys arguing, but they were like when Bella, like Edward and Jacob, they was fighting over Bella. So it was one of those situations that were happening to me in the classroom. And the popular boys, they saw that. And the one boy, he said, "This is all your fault, you black B word." And I tell you, that stuff, it scarred me. Like literally, it scarred me. Like anytime I see that dude, I talk about it because it's like, you gonna apologize? He did apologize, so not too much on him. But it just shows how badly they will just not even thinking about it. Talk about your features. Like, just so many people have talked, and I know that plays a role in their purposes in the back of their head. Because this same man that isolated me for my features in front of a class full of black people. Now, I was the only monoracial black girl, dark-skinned black girl. But the rest of them, they were monoracial and black, but they were boys. And them seeing that, of course, two guys fighting over me, that heightens my desirability, that heightens the social status. If someone's got the talking, it's like, yeah, oh, da-da-da. But it's like, we have to humble this girl. Like, you can't, don't be sitting here getting all high and mighty. You're just a black B word. Said that to me in the middle of class, y'all. I was just minding my own unambiguous black business. So that's why I can't allow y'all to sit there and act like these types of like ways of thinking don't exist, because I've experienced it. And there's more stories that I've experienced too. And will be violent, they will be harassing you, and they will isolate you because of your features. They will tell you it's because of your features is why we're targeting you, is why we're going out of our way to disrespect you. And that usually comes from the self-hating men. So I'm not going to sit here and act like self-hating men don't exist. I just don't deal with them, and we usually just don't become in relationships. But they still try to bother us when we reject them, or when we surpass their desirability measurements for monoracial people. Black male in grade school, for whatever reason, just assumed. Someone got to tell me what WTV means. I remember this dark-skinned athlete telling me once he glows up that I should holler at him. I remember this dark-skinned athlete telling me once he glows up that I should holler at him one day. Oh, how cute. They never hurt my feelings. I thought that they were nugatory since kindergarten. Yeah, well, what I see, here's the thing. Like the nerds, we didn't have those issues. Like, we go off intelligence. So like attraction and like colorism and self-hate is never something that I really understood until I got older. And then I found Chrissy, and then she kind of like was the vocabulary for, oh, this is why I'm getting isolated. Oh, this is why. So yeah, I think who I avoid, if anything, is not just black men. I don't really avoid black men because I still date them. Like, black men like me, they come to me. But I do say that, like, the people who like the hood rich aesthetic, niggas like Future, folks that are heavily associated with, like, what do y'all call it? Y'all call it Blackistan, like the Blackistan culture. You stay away. I stay away from them. Like Pookie and Ray Ray are the colorist people that I'm talking about. You know, most average black men, they're respectable, they're articulate, they're good men. That's who you usually don't have any problems with. Them Pookies, them Ray Rays, them Kodak Blacks, them Young Thugs, they just disrespectful. Them dudes in the hood, they just are. They just disrespectful. Dudes in the hood are just really disrespectful. And that's probably what it's more so, too. It could be a socioeconomic thing, because what I noticed is in the richer schools, if you weren't considered attractive, people just ignored you. It didn't, like, there wasn't any bullying. No one sat there and shoved you in your locker because you didn't meet the beauty standard. You just didn't know, you were ignored, you know? So that's something I've also noticed is different in each culture and socioeconomic status. Gigi says, I just made a video about Kevin Gates saying Savannah James looked like a man. These men are the issue, and pick me's that support them. Exactly. And that's just what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that, you know, it's going to be hard for my girlies to get no dates or find no dudes. I'm just saying that beware of the snakes hidden in the grass that are sitting there playing. Because a lot of, my girls aren't like celebrities or nothing like that. We're regular people. So we're going to come across these complexes a lot more honestly. And people are allowed to choose what's best for their family. Because if you sit here and you have babies with a colorist man, I'm being for real. Like, if you have babies with a colorist man, I'm going to say that's your fault. So if he starts to, like, you know, the family's picking on your dark-skinned baby and weird stuff starts happening that starts becoming generational, we all say that that's the person's fault because you should have chose better. So that's what I mean. We can't clown these baby mamas in one breath, right? And then side with the men who make them baby mamas. It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, whatever. Okay. I'm trying to see, because like the chat is going very fast. I'm just trying to make sure, like, they associate dark skin with being African. Like, literally, Like, why does in every major like modeling contract or agency, if you do see someone who's dark skinned, they're more than like likely African. They're never like the ad mix Black American. Like, I don't see me on screen. You know who is like Tika Sumpter? Who's that other girl? She plays Miranda from like the House of Pain. China Anne McClain. Who else? Mia Campbell. She was also very pretty. Monoracial Black woman. Countess Vaughn. Monoracial Black woman. So yeah, like us as American girls, like I feel like we as American Black girls, like we've gotten pushed off the TV screen just a little bit. If we are dark skinned, they're over here bragging about their privileges and still haven't snagged a rich husband. No. Actually, you reminded me. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all this video that my subscriber. The only reason I'm responding to this stuff is because my subscriber wanted me to. Because this just shows how women, not just dark skinned women, have this pretty dark skinned women versus ugly dark skinned women conversation. You have exoticals. Literally, they are like they're trying to make a difference. They're saying, "Hey, these below average women talking about this conversation, we don't want them talking for us." And that's another thing. That's another weird thing. Can somebody leave comments about what they feel like the war on average is? Why is everybody like upset with average looking people? Like if you have face symmetry, you have both your arms, your legs, clear skin, you know, people are considered this average. And this is weird because when I see a beautiful person, it's never somebody who's naturally beauty. It's usually always glam, always lashes, always the filler, always the hair that doesn't match the real hair texture, or tracks or anything. And I think when we get into calling that beautiful, we miss the human being. And I'm gonna bring up a Bible verse because y'all know I'm all Christian over here. I ain't playing with y'all because this is getting us into idolatry where we sit here and think, and that's why part of me hates this pretty privileged conversation for real, because I realize how deeply centered it is in idolizing, and being vain to yourself. So yeah, that just goes against the principles. But we're gonna show these exoticals, they're coming for each other. Yes, they are, girly. They coming for each other. And thank y'all for the live stream. If you haven't already, put that like button. Let me know what other videos y'all want to see. Leave a comment. Just let me know. Like we watching the tea. I have been MIA, but I always want to sit here and like show the girls that I'm all live when I can be.
You went up, they will try and target you, or they will try and go up against you, compete with you, one up you, because in their mind you're at the top of the food chain. You are the alpha when it comes to pretty, when it comes to beauty.
Let me start by saying this loud for the ones in the back. I have been holding my tongue too long, and I know some of y'all have too, but it's time. Let's talk about it. Some of these exoticals popping up, baby, they don't look exotic to me. They look light-skinned. That's it. And yes, they may benefit from colorism and maybe even featureism, but when I think exotical, I think stunning. I think striking. I think pretty girl club, and respectfully, some of these faces and hair, not giving. Welcome back to the space where we don't rewrite reality, we read it for filth. This is unapologetic exotical content, where pretty isn't pretended, standards aren't softened, and we don't need group projects to feel validated. I just watched a video by a woman who calls herself an exotical, and she's talking about having 4C hair and how someone told her to do her hair. I paused the video because, I love her content, I do. The messenger, incredible. But the mirror, not reflecting exotical to me. Let's be real. Just because you're light-skinned doesn't automatically mean you're attractive. I said it, and no one seems to want to call it out. Under their posts, you see stunning, gorgeous, so beautiful, and I'm sitting there like, where? Now let me be fair. I'm not invalidating anyone's story. Unambiguous women are at the bottom of the desirability hierarchy, and the way they hate on everyone, including each other, is proof enough. And
And I hate to be the one because, I don't really mess with nobody who isn't like pro dark skin, unambiguous woman. I just feel like I understand the undesirables in every group. They come in and they're usually the loudest and the minority at the same time. They're usually the loudest minority. But we have to be honest that even this, even how dark like women like Blunt Girly and women in Blunt Girly's video are coming at it like, oh, it's not colorism, you're just ugly. Like you see how quick a dark, and I don't ever see other races of women run to call the next girl that looks like them ethnically like ugly. I never see that. I never see other non-black people just have this feature blindness associated with themselves. So although I really don't agree with us being at the bottom of the totem pole, like I feel like that maybe in quote unquote black community standards, but if we decenter black community, which a lot of us choose to do, we usually make up the most desirable features of the phenotype train. And a lot of the features that are coveted originate from the black diaspora. A lot of them are just not able to appreciate it on full black people due to racism. So I don't support her because girly pop, honey bunny, like girl, us unambiguous women, we're not hating on y'all. It seems like y'all have enough issues as it is, but as unambiguous women, I will call it out. Other black unambiguous women will come for you because it's like, okay, well, at least I could be better than you. You know what I mean? If I can't be, on the same quote unquote totem pole as the other women, let me at least punch down to my fellow woman to make my pedestal higher.
Yes, light-skinned women get hate too, but there are levels to this. I've seen a truly stunning light-skinned exotical on here, but then I've seen others get hyped up in the exotical community who were not even cute, some of whom you can't even find photos of anymore, probably because the comments didn't match the face card. This one light-skinned woman on here, who is an exotical, is gorgeous, no question. That's the standard I think of. Not just light with an angle, but beautiful without the filter. So when I see exotical spaces posting average black women with wigs and enhancements calling it representation, I'm confused. That's not shaking the room, that's just shifting the wig. Now let's go deeper. This woman with the 4C hair, she
Gigi says, to be fair, black women engages in this as well. I hear some of them calling kids black and nappy. So this affects them as they grow up, how they view black. Very true. Black women all the time. Ooh, she got that good hair. Like they just say some ignorant stuff all the time. And that aids to the beauty standard as well. Girl. Girl. That it goes deep. I be trying to tell people stop calling them kids nappy. Don't say nappy. Don't do that. That doesn't make somebody feel good about their hair. And they're gonna have to remember, those words that you spoken every time. So some people even say disparaging things about younger, darker kids' skin tone. I've had adults speak disparagingly about my skin tone to me while I was younger. Of course, I've had a lot of the adults try to combat this by saying, oh, she's so gorgeous, beautiful, dark skin chocolate. But I definitely think that it's been equal. Some people just have bad experiences. And I also just think that too, people who hate, and this is why my biggest enemies be the undesirable, because undesirable will always have something to say. And it really does cause a shift in the way that these people view themselves. And even appealing to a pretty privileged politic by way of pretty privilege is life does seem a bit crazy to me. Like I understand tapping into my pretty privilege when I need it. Like, yeah, I do that. Like I'm a normal woman. I tap into my pretty privilege when I need it, when it's useful to me, when I need to close out that deal, get this really good, nice position. Like when I need to use it, I will tap in. But by way of punching down other women, I keep it up. No, no, no.
benefits from colorism and featureism, but suddenly she's doing full-on TED Talks on 4C pride. Baby, where was that pride the whole time your hair was flat ironed into a hostage situation? Let's be honest, if 4C hair was really a look, everybody who has it would wear it. proudly, consistently, but they don't. They hide it, straighten it, stretch it, or bury it under 28 inches of Brazilian. That says more than a hashtag ever could. And I'm sorry, but admiring something while never wearing it, that's not empowerment. That's performance. Here's the psychology. People want proximity to power. In beauty terms, that means proximity to the pretty girl group. People want to be included because being pretty comes with perks, access, admiration, attention, protection. So, of course, less attractive women want to align themselves with the exotical space. It's like trying to sneak into the VIP section with general admission features. I get it, but I see it. And this is where sociology kicks in. In a world that prioritizes looks, people will do whatever they can to avoid being labeled unattractive, even if that means redefining exotic to include themselves. It's not about truth, it's about survival. I came into this community because it looked like exoticals got along. I supported everyone, but I noticed something real quick. When I comment on other exotical channels, my comments get deleted. Meanwhile, on my channel, they stay. Why? Because I keep it too real. I eat in comment sections. But some of these creators want safe, sanitized praise, not sharp, honest dialogue. And they're pandering. Some even talk about decentering men because they've been hurt or just don't like men. That's not my ministry. I attract high value men emotionally, financially, and morally. I live the soft life, and my bills are covered. So, no, I'm not going to fake struggle content just to fit in. One supporter messaged me and said she unsubscribed from exotical channels because they kept pushing this every woman is beautiful nonsense. She said, unambiguous, and white women are obsessed with us, and the exotical channels keep pandering to keep those subscribers. And honestly, she clocked it. That comment gave me the green light to tell the truth. Although I have been doing that, I was just trying not to go there. But honestly, I was eventually. It just came sooner thanks to her. And here it is. Not everyone belongs in this space. And no, Chiara's not exotical. Look at the before and after. She looks like Wanda Sykes with a glam team and a surgeon on speed dial. She lied about surgery, got clocked in an interview, and I laughed.
Every time I see you, I am only focused on your nose. Is that your real nose?
Yes, it is my real nose.
It is just the most beautiful nose. Do people say that to you?
I've heard that when I was younger, they would say I had like a Michael Jackson nose when I was really young.
It's gorgeous.
Girl, bye. Every light-skinned celebrity is not attractive, period. Telling the truth is not mean. It's not bullying. Society just taught you that any truth that hurts your ego is cruelty. No, baby, it's reality. And over here, this isn't the Inclusion Olympics. It's the actual Pretty Girl Club. Not based on vibes, not based on victimhood, but actual appearance. This community is exclusive, not to be mean, but to be real. I don't need YouTube checks. My man pays my bills. I'm not pandering for likes, views, or delusion-based loyalty. I'm here to speak the truth, even if it makes a few lace fronts combust. So if you're tired of forced flattery, watered down standards, and representation that looks like cosplay,
So, okay, what she's basically doing is she's coming for the previous exotical creators who have showed their face. And she is saying what we've all been thinking. I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking like I wasn't gonna say anything because you know the unambiguous hater stereotype. But now that the light skinned woman said it, what can you say now? She's saying that you guys are not attractive enough to be speaking how y'all are speaking on the internet, online. That's what she's saying to the girlies. Sierra is pretty to me. I don't know if she had work done. And I think the problem is too that a lot of these pillars of beauty, it really isn't realistic. Like these people, they have had surgeries on their face. Like they have had body modification. They actively, you know, change their eating habits for roles and gain weight and lose weight. Like they're a little bit more fluid with their body image. So it's important.
I also think that I'm just gonna, have a little bit of commentary about her video. Of course, this is not someone who is a friend of unambiguous dark skinned women. Like it's clear throughout the video that this is not going to be a spot where y'all going to get all nestled up to and look stupid. No, I think she's telling the truth about what she sees in her sector, and she's also trying to market to the big dogs and hopefully get into the algorithm to be one of the heavy hitters, like Pretty in Between, like the Black Exotical. She's trying to get that level of subscribership off of their like what they have shown already. And I just feel like the girls who have been doing it, like they have been doing this exotical content, they're gonna have to fight for them lives, girl, because there's new girls that are coming in and they want to be a part of it too. And the problem is it's not a circle. There is a real issue with women centralizing themselves altogether is the real issue. Like it has nothing to do with how they look. Women are really just competitive by nature, but it's overtly so. So we get into these like situations where we're even online talking about silly things. I think Sierra's pretty. I think all the women that they showed, but it was to prove a point. It was to show that the phenotype that they are referring to is not black centered when she mentions exotical. She's saying that black adjacent women have hijacked the exotical movement and is taking over for the girls who they're truly considering exotical, which are the ones who benefit from more than just one feature at a time, maybe two or three. Okay, that's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to say. So they're trying to say that making it palatable so where even unambiguous dark skinned women are in the comments because they can see themselves in Ryan Destiny and some of the other, like she's calling it into it in her own sector. But I think as black women, we need to be worried about what's going on in our sector. And we have women, that are steady using like the femininity approach to punch down at women. And I think that we need femininity to by way of our own personal life, like that's what we want to do, but I also think that we cannot force that on everybody else, and we can't expect women to just hush up about any harassment or wrongfulness that they faced because it's only telling one part of the story at that point. If black women also perpetuate in these isms, you know what I'm saying, we got to be able to call out why they do it and what may have started and the back and forth of relationship between both parties. And then with the exoticals, like I think they're gonna duke that out to the very end. It's like they're gonna get that together. Like someone's gonna figure it out. And she really didn't come for like the big boss, in my opinion. But I definitely think someone's gonna have to respond. But a lot of these women, they is auntie, they is cousin, they is sister. So it's like I don't want to be seen, talking stuff about women that they just could look like people in the family. Like I really just try to be respectful online. And I try to be respectful towards y'all. And I think for women that call people unattractive so much, I was very surprised to see what all of them really look like. Very surprised. Or even the features that they were showing, if they would show like little clips here and there, I was like, oh, like, wow. Like, this is someone who feels comfortable enough going online and just yelling ugly. Like, no matter how pretty I feel, I'll never go online and call somebody else ugly because I know the power of a roast. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I think that what they want to do is they want to center more non-black, and that's what it's at. Because you saw she was representing like sporting Meghan Markle all up in her videos, so attributing herself and her phenotype closer to a Meghan Markle, closer to someone who is white passing. And I think those women, they're seeing the conversation too, and they're like, you have monoracial black girls trying to come in under this exotical stuff, making fun of unambiguous black women, and they are also unambiguous black women. but strategic. They all have slanted eyes, pointy noses, slightly curly hair. Isn't that exotical to you? Who? Who are y'all talking about, girl? Y'all saw who I put in my original video, and I haven't seen pictures of some of them girls since. I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is not cousin. No, this is not cousin talking stuff. Not cousin. But to be honest, there are admixed black women. I think like women like Bernice Burgos truly fit the exotical mold. Women like Meghan Markle, women like Zendaya, like that's who I thought was talking. You know what I'm saying? But now y'all saying the black girls like kicked you in the eye and you're the black girls. I was just a little confused by that. Just a little bit. Just a little confused. I was just not I wasn't expecting that. That's all I can say. I wasn't expecting it too much. But that's just been my, my spill. Of course I'm gonna show y'all the ending of my video because I do want y'all to hear the Black Exotical posted. So if I stayed on and we watched the Black Exoticals video, what would y'all think about that? Because I didn't watch it yet, but I feel some type of way whenever someone addresses dark skinned women. This is something I do have to say. Like, I hate whenever people are addressing dark skinned women, they want to sit there and pull out like the dark skinned overweight girls. Like, I feel like that's like a cheap shot. Like, pick on somebody your own size. Like, I don't like that very much. Like, I feel like if you're gonna talk to unambiguous dark skinned women, talk to us, talk to the pretty girls, talk to the ones who are here and we have rebuttals and we get attention, but we're also not gonna let you try to build a pedestal over top of our representation. No, we're not going to let you do that. We're not going to let you say our stories aren't valid, our truth shouldn't be heard, our truth shouldn't be said on our own platforms. We can't allow y'all to rewrite history. Now, if and this is just me saying, if you got guys in the home that are checking the colorist remarks so you don't hear it as much, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I can see that even within the exotical community, it's a little bit of a case study of how Black people really do strive towards their own devices, like their own isms. These same systems that were created to keep us out, keep us without resources, we happily take on as our own because we feel like it gives us some type of identity. So even playing into the light skin versus dark skin situation, or that there is even a pedestal to be had. Yeah, of course, it started out as just YouTube banter, and it was started by the BWE girlies. I think that's why it's kind of hard because to really, because the people who are really supposed to be speaking about this, they acting like they don't see it, y'all. Like, it really is the BWE girlies who were, making bread and butter off this content, who should be explaining themselves in the court of law. Like, public opinion, of course, not like real law, but like the court of public opinion. Like, they definitely were the ones putting out all these vitriols, and now us average, regular, unambiguous dark skinned women have to fight against the stereotypes that women like Christy, women like I'm Aloha, women like Queen Trauma, like women like that, they put out here into the mainstream for consumption. Even people who would make dark-skinned crime videos and stuff like that, they'll just be very, 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 very problematic and unethical with their video making. Y'all are the ones who whenever y'all have a question, direct it to them, because women like me, all we're saying is don't subscribe to the community that still believes in a hate. Like, I'm not saying ignore hate. I'm not saying hate don't exist. I'm not going to say you're going to pretty privilege your way out of hate. All I'm saying is you can live your life just so much happiness in a way that you put yourself first, that you could bypass all of this by centering yourself, by centering your own image and centering your own priority. If that means you making sure that you get the best jobs, you get that. If that makes sure you have the best platforms and you explain yourself in the most articulate way, then you do that. And that's why I came on here and explained to y'all, because I just can't have the narrative be pushed that that this is an ugly girl squad. No, we have just dealt with self hate, and you're not going to make us ugly just because we dealt with self hate. Give me a moment. And you're also not going to use like bigger unambiguous women as your punching bags whenever you want to come at somebody. I don't respect that. I think you should come for the skinny black girls. If that's the case, come for the skinny black girls. You can't, because we look just as good as you at that point. Y'all always want to come for the big girls, and I feel like sometimes the big girls, they be being shady, but when they're not being shady, y'all need to leave them alone, because that's just what I feel. Yep, as a big girl, big all my life, I spot the strategy. They won't go for the top dark skinned girlies because they know they can't compete. Their beauty is validated by average white person features. The community used to respond to content dragging mixed or light skinned women, but now they're the aggressors and making the division worse. Yep. Well, here's the thing, right? Because everyone says, I don't think, to be honest, what I took from Chrissy, me personally, okay? Me personally, the only thing I really heard, this is how you style your hair, this is the makeup, this is the type of colors that you should be wearing. Stay away from lace fronts, stay away from like the bougie ghetto, like the ghetto look. And then what else did I get off of Chrissy? Oh, to not be naive and think that everyone thinks that like they're in a sisterhood with you. Like people are competing with you. So I didn't realize that, because I didn't know that there was a competition to be had. Of course, as a child, there ain't no competition, girl. What are we competing for? But then as you get older, you're realizing, oh, some of these girls are competing for dudes. You know? I think I'll do it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'll play my video at the end, but we'll go ahead and play what the black, because I actually have been, I be snooping on the Black Exoticals page. She's actually the only one I could tolerate. So I just be hear people out, but I don't respect that when they be saying, "Oh, dressing women," and then they pull out the big girl, and I'm like, "Well, I'm right here." Like, don't come for the big girls if they ain't do nothing, because they're not our representation over, like, you know what I mean? Especially when they pull out women like Whoopi Goldberg, and it's like, okay, but you're acting like the average black woman looks like Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, first of all, although very gorgeous in her prime, very, 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 very gorgeous. I think at the time, people were just hateful towards a unambiguous woman like Whoopi Goldberg. But she was slim, girl, clear skin, nice smile. Yes, girl. If she would have picked, different roles and didn't portray herself as the slave or the beaten woman, or the mammy, like, she probably would have been able to heighten her desirability. But that's why I tell my girlies, be strategic with your image. Us as dark skinned girls, we can't be out here, crying and saying, okay. And that's why part of me be like, even though I have a point to prove with colorism, is it worth it? Because it can bog down my channel and give a message that I don't want it to give. The message is not that dark skinned women are defeatism. The message is that even though that people have these systems in place, dark skinned women still rise above it each and every time. And I think that's amazing. And that's just my opinion.
Ms. Warren. Okay, so there's no more balloons. So go ahead and go.
Hi, beautiful ladies. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about how to not be a loser and how to get rid of this mentality if you have one. As I played in the previous video, these self-depreciating comments and content, while people put this type of stuff out with the hopes that it will kind of, I guess, open people's eyes to their plight and take pity upon them, constantly putting out content where you are highlighting your flaws, talking about how disadvantaged you are, disenfranchised, talking about how no one likes you, is going to do the opposite effect of what you're hoping for, and is actually going to repel people from seeing your worth. Because all you're really doing is highlighting your flaws and centering your flaws instead of centering your strengths, whatever they may be. And the fact of the matter is, as I've said many times on this channel, Not everyone is going to find you attractive, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. You don't like everyone, you don't find everyone attractive. And so, the same thing applies to other individuals. Memberships are now live on this channel. Click the link in the description box to like to troll, but they'll call it out and be like, not all. So there you go for the not all crew. There are some unambiguous Black women, dark skinned content creators who do center and who are kind of following the exotical model of saying, no, I'm going to do away with this victim mentality. I am going to highlight that I am that girl, that women who look like me, we are the shit. And I'm going to tell you why, so that you can show up in real life being the shit, and we can have a collective united front together. Maybe before, you like a couple years ago, especially during the pandemic, when people were kind of more left leaning, more aligning with like the Black Lives Matter messaging and DEI type of messaging, maybe you would see more people in the comments like validating this and saying, no, we see you, I like Black girls, I'm attracted to dark skinned Black girls. But now people are kind of moving away from that and saying, like, fuck that. First of all, you do have people who will stand beside you and validate you. But the constant complaining is almost as if you're saying, like, oh, I don't see this, like, this doesn't exist, this validation. Or it's almost as if you're begging for more, when in reality, it's your responsibility to center and validate yourself. And people are getting tired of it. It is an emotional burden having to validate someone else's experience when they should be doing that on their own. Like, think about that one friend that's insecure and that's constantly fishing for compliments. You probably either are tired of her when you see her name pop up on your phone when she calls you probably roll your eyes, or you probably cut her off because that's too much. And the same thing in this creator's comments underneath this video that she posted. You can see this kind of same sentiment where people are like, okay, fuck it. Like, you want to be a victim? Go ahead and be a victim. We're going to play along with it, and we're going to like go back to trolling you. And some people are even standing down and saying, no, I'm going to correct you on this type of victim mentality of.
This is why this is funny to me, because I've actually seen pretty girls, dark-skinned girls in Miami talk about how in Miami, Florida, the state of Florida specifically, they experience colorism a little bit more than they do in any other state. So, although I feel like it's easy to come for the big girl here, I feel like they're even still using her to like miss the point when hold up. Y'all get that too, right? Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that, right? They go after big girls because no one wants to look like us. They easily target and now add on unambiguity and dark skin. Bam, you got the perfect target. They can't compete with the top dark skins, quote unquote. She says the top dark skins. Who would y'all consider top dark skins? Put those in the comments. Let me know who is like your internalized beauty standard. So this is what she's saying. So let's gonna let her speak. I think it's easy to come for her because this woman is overweight, but we can't ignore that other women have said they've experienced the same thing in the state. So it's easy. So we're gonna take their responsibility off that state's particular culture and how they treat people who look of a particular complexion, and we're going to put it on this individual who created her because she's slim pickings, because not only is she someone who's talking about this out loud, which is already unpopular to talk about, which is colorism, she is not looking quote unquote desirable in their opinion because she looks overweight.
Black women and darker skinned Black women in particular not being desirable, or the general belief that we're not desired, that's false. A number of people pointed out in the comments that this individual, her being a dark skinned Black woman, is not the issue. I didn't see not one person comment and be like, yeah, that's true, dark skinned women are gross, yeah, you darkies are ugly. I didn't see not one person say that. And obviously TikTok will remove abusive comments if, maybe that was there in the past. But even without saying in so many words, I didn't see one person say, yeah, I would never date a black girl, or I would never date a dark skinned black woman. But they did, a number of recurring comments said, no, your issue is not that you have dark skin. And they're probably implying that, you need to focus on your weight. Because regardless of how you look, whether you are light skin or dark skin, it is a known fact that you generally look better when you are smaller. And obviously, being smaller, the definition of that varies. We all hold our weight differently. We all have different body compositions of how we distribute our weight. But for the most part, you look better when you are slimmer because your facial features and your bone structure is more visible when you have less fat on your face. And that would be the case of this young woman. And I pointed this out in a previous video, but if you look at photos of her when she was smaller, she looked better because you could see her facial features. And the same thing would apply for a woman if she's light skinned, mixed race, white, Asian, blue, or green. If you look at Meghan Trainor, you look at Meghan Trainor before and you look at her now, you would not, I didn't even know that Meghan Trainor was Meghan Trainor until someone pointed it out. I know Meghan Trainor of her kind of like putting out like the typical women's empowerment, I'm a strong woman, I have a great personality type of music when she was bigger, because no shade, but that's the only, for lack of a better word, that's the only thing that she could offer in that space was her great personality, the fact that she's confident, and not so much her looks, because let's face it, in that industry, especially for white women, white people have stronger, stricter guidelines for being slim as opposed to black people. The black community is much more lenient and accepting and actually expects you to be a bigger woman in the black community as opposed to white people. If you are big as a white person, you will be shunned. Whether they explicitly say that or not, you will be looked down upon. And so Meghan Trainor, being a white woman, I haven't heard her put out any music since she lost weight, but I bet you if she were to put out an album, she's going to talk about how sexy she is. She's going to be up there shaking some ass. She's going to be in some skimpy outfits showing off her brand new body, and rightfully so, because Meghan Trainor looks amazing now. Not to say that she was less than of a person when she was bigger, obviously not. She's the same person. But now she can really allow that confidence to shine through that she was singing about when she was bigger. So anyway, that loser mentality, like that can exist in a number of ways. It's not just with dark skin. It can exist again with weight. And it can exist with just your self-esteem, because there are many women who are beautiful. Like you already are that girl. You already have the body, you already have the looks and talent. But for some reason, because you can't see it, you adopt this mentality of you being inadequate or you being less than. I don't know, maybe I guess to level the playing field. We see that a lot in the Black community where there is this huge fascination with humbling Black women as a way to make them feel less than.
Get your business up and running with
That's why Black men don't fuck with Black women, because you guys are too bougie. Press 6-1, baby. My fucking fiance is Asian because I can't stand y'all Black bitches, but I love my 3 Black daughters. Get your shit together. What my homie told me, personality will get you so far in life as a business.
Thank you. Please get that man away from us.
Get your shit together.
All I did was sit here and be a Black woman. All we did was sit here and be Black.
So yeah, as you can see in that clip, those 2 Black girls, one was like a brown skinned woman, one was a light skinned woman. They were just sitting there minding their own business, feeling themselves. They both looked really, really nice. And the guy was triggered by the fact that they were confident Black women, because we expect in the Black community Black women to not be confident as a way to level the playing field and validate loser Black women and loser Black men. And I've heard this so many times where it's like, Black men, they don't have as much as you, so you don't want them to feel bad. So pretty much dumb down your credentials dumb down who you are so that he doesn't feel inadequate and he doesn't feel intimidated by you, with hopes that it'll encourage him to realize his full potential. And it's the same thing with loser black women, where it's like, oh, your cousin, she's not as slim as you, she's not as pretty as you, she's not as accomplished as you. So, try to like tone down when we go out for dinner, for example, try to tone down your outfit so that she doesn't feel bad. When you pick on yourself, you give others permission to pick on you.
Okay, see, this is why, I can mess with the Black Exotical. She's always balanced, fair, and she never really says exactly what I'm expecting her, but she eats every time. So, of course. And I love that she entered in that part where that black man was just bothering for them for no reason, just because they was cute black women, just living up where they were. Now, of course, the thumbnail puts off a particular image and a particular imagery, but if you click on the video, it gives a different tone. So women like that, I think the initial thing she said, it was a meme talking about how they would pop the balloon on her if she was living in Florida. I have heard confirmed cases of pretty dark skinned women who have confirmed talks about colorism in Florida because it's pretty colorist out there. But I think that it's easier to make this woman the thumbnail because now you can make the topic about her weight, and about black men and about loser women, instead of explaining what makes them losers in the first place, which is their ideologies. And a lot of the self-hate ideology comes behind the dusty mentality. Most of them will consider it dusty. So this is what this lady is talking about in Miami. She talk about it.
So I've been seeing a lot of people talk about moving to Miami, and as a New Yorker that lived in Miami for a short time, don't. Miami got mad racism, y'all. Mad racism.
Black people do not reproduce enough. You don't have the numbers. You don't make enough Black Americans. Do have some mixing.
It's not a city where Black people are everywhere. If you're trying to go out and you're trying to find other people, you're gonna have to look up Miami Black blank if that's the type of music you're gonna go to, or the type of vibe or experience you're trying to have. Miami is predominantly Hispanic, and they run things. That's just the lay of the land, just what it is. Most of the time, if you just go out to a club on a random day, you're going to find Hispanic people. You're going to listen to Hispanic music. Of people that was turned away weeks later because there was too many Black people in my crew. Now, Mr. Jones is one of those spaces where if you go on their page at the time, this is about a year ago or two, you saw white and Hispanic women and you saw Black men that, as long as they were famous, that was fine. That is what happens in a lot of clubs in Miami, especially South Beach, especially affluent clubs, especially clubs that are not necessarily catering to a Black crowd. They may have a Black night. You know what night to go to live. You know what night to go to certain clubs to see your people, to hear your music. Now, some people are like, it's not a big deal. And some people say that's a big deal because this is 2025. But hey, is that considered racist to you or not? Or do you just not care about the well-being of Black women, which, hey, join the line.
Hearing things like that absolutely disgusts me. It is. Do you see?
No matter if you are a Black person that's getting it, successful, they don't look at us as equals at all. In New York, Latinos and the Blacks, we equal. Like we so lit together. We have a good time. In Miami, no. In Miami, the Latinos think that they're white. That's what they think. They think that they're white. Like let's just keep it one. They don't think that they're Latino. They think that they're white in Miami. Okay. And they look so down on the Black people in Miami. It's ridiculous. And I don't even know why the hell people live in Miami, because Miami is very expensive. For me to live in Miami, I was actually getting taken care of. I didn't work because there's no jobs. They have never had jobs in Miami. They have never had jobs in Miami. All my cousins live in Miami. If you're not a scammer, if you ain't trapping, if you're not a business owner, you're not making it out there. And to the girlies, if you ain't got no, sugar daddy, no provider, you're not getting it out there. Because guess what? In Miami, my cousins, when they did try to do regular jobs, like, and actually be tax-paying civilians, they were working at Foot Locker, and you would think, okay, you work at Foot Locker and you work at Target and you work at all these places. No, you're not getting full-time hours. You're getting part-time hours. So in order to survive in Miami, you have to have 2 part-time jobs to make it a full-time job. Who's living that life? So don't move to Miami. With the racism, if y'all want a part 2, if y'all really want me to dig deep into...
Okay, so that's what she said. I saw girls going on vacation and they would talk about like how Miami is just like kind of like colorist. So it's easier to say that, oh, you're just a loser black woman, you're fat, you're overweight, you're ugly, instead of addressing. So now what are you going to say to this woman? That woman, she's pretty. Why do you think like she's seen it? And this is not the only pretty dark skinned woman I've seen that have said that Florida just does not cater to dark skinned women and they don't like being out there. So I don't understand why people are acting like y'all can't acknowledge that fact simply too. That there are colorism systems and that you guys abide in. If you're gonna call yourself beneficiaries of colorism, texturism, and featureism, you know what I'm saying? If there was a benefit. But that's just what I think. I know y'all just be listening to me ramp and ramble. Cause I can't just let y'all paint a narrative and then ignore the real stories that dark skinned women talk about every day, because I think that is important. But I gotta find the video because it was like a TikTok, and it could have been a short too. Because YouTube be showing you videos, all types of videos, and then you can't find them no more. And unless you save them for like a future topic, you don't know. Have any of y'all vacationed in Miami? I wanted to live in Miami at a particular point. I thought that Miami was cuz the beach, something like, smooth. Especially cuz it's always hot. For the most part, you don't really got to worry about no bad weather. Gorgeous girl, gorgeous dark skinned girl. Now she's talking about her experiences in Miami. So, 2 gorgeous girls. Now they're going to talk about how their gorgeous experiences in Miami, and now you tell these women like what do they do wrong now?
For us as dark skinned women. So, and I'm not mad at it. So pretty much you're saying dark skinned women go to the high upscale areas. You're gonna get the best treatment there because people there not praise, but people that uplift you. They uplift you. So every and y'all don't be in the comments. Y'all tell me if I'm lying. I know y'all had y'all experiences too. Like if man, we are praised when you go to places where people are. I guess you would say they got money, they're rich, whatever the case. They're not necessarily looking at your skin. They're looking at how you carry yourself, your beauty,
eat,
like everything about you. And I mean, if you're obviously in their vicinity, you're of something. You know what I mean? Of some sort of magnitude of importance. You know what I mean? And people recognize that. Not to say like I'm not saying, oh, you got to go get the best of the best. Nobu is a very expensive place. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you go to like low, like it's hard for me to really explain. All I'm saying is that if you when you put yourself around people who could care less what your skin looks like, but more so how you carry yourself and where you place yourself, you're gonna get a whole different experience.
Okay. So how can like a regular? So how can they find those places? Because it's hard to say go to a place.
Well, I found it on TikTok.
Okay, so do your research, ladies, before you go to a new city. Do your research.
Do your damn research. Look up the lit spot. Look up the nice hotels. Look up the like. It's really important to have an itinerary. Let's start there. It's very important to have an itinerary to know what you're doing when you get out there. Because if you go out there just off the strength of thinking that things are just gonna get handed to you, that's low vibrational thinking. I feel like because if you plan it, I promise you, I guarantee you'll execute it once you get out there.
So you got there, you were Noble. How was that from the? What was your experience like on the first day?
Oh, it was princess treatment from when I came out of the mother freaking black truck. Okay, like very much princess treatment, waiting on you hand and feet. People there are so friendly. The white old men, the white old ladies with their families, like everybody was so kind. I was fucking hit left and right with compliments. Like I felt very much confident in myself. First day arrival.
Old white man, old white woman, which is kind of it's kind of ironic that they're the ones who are showering you with all these compliments compared to quote unquote the other places that you will go to where you will find people who look like you who are just middle class. So are you saying that rich old people not glorified but appreciate dark skinned women more? Let's keep it real.
I don't even want it to be on no fetish or nothing vibes. Like they just genuinely, they too damn old to be still racist. You know what I mean? Or still colorist or whatever. If anything, they're literally looking at you like, "Wow, what are you doing so I can look younger?" With my old ass.
Wait, was it only like old white people?
No, it wasn't. It was like everybody, like people with families, younger people. But it was like a lot of obviously like, older established people. When I say older, I'm not talking like old, and not papa with a cane. I'm talking about like between the 30s to like the 40s range. Yeah, just a little bit more established. There's a lot of established people. When people are established and they're secure in themselves, they have no problem giving out that energy to other people. You know.
Princess treatment day 1, day 2. How was that for you?
It was great. I mean, we ended up going to jet skis. We did jet skis, planned that out. Met some people on the boat. It was a vibe. Went out to dinner. Dinner was a great. We went to Victory Restaurant and Lounge. I'm pretty sure your Miami followers will know that spot was a lit. It was a lit experience. Okay, my overall experience was lit. Like to me.
So, did you guys pay for everything that you?
Yeah, initially before getting.
Have a great time. Tell yourself you're going to be treated with respect, dignity, and class, and go have a ball. I know you went to live.
Yeah. So that's a close scene.
That's a close scene. And you were surrounded by some celebrities. Now, and I know you were she was the only dark skin girl in the section. Listen. So how was that experience for you? Being the only dark skinned female
fun. It was
amongst all these people and these men still showing you so much love.
It was very fun.
And it's unlike Miami, right? Because Miami is where you find the Latinas and you know and the rappers. So you being like the face there, how like describe that to us?
I mean, I had met somebody previously before the night before who invited us out. We pulled up. He made sure we got in. Everything was straight. As soon as I walked in, though,
Now, I know I'm not saying much, but what I noticed is different is it seemed like she already had some connections before she went to Miami. So she was being strategic first. She wasn't just going into Miami like just popping up at clubs without an invite. She knew people. So I kind of wonder too, those stories where they're saying, oh, they're turning away dark skinned women at the door, you know, can you bypass that by having a particular connection in the club? You know what I'm saying? So these are some of the ways that we can put ourselves on a pedestal so we don't ever have to worry about getting chosen or axed in or feeling like, oh, he's making us stand outside and two people just walk past us and they bad. You know what I mean? So they're saying they were treated like, you know, really good in Miami, Orlando. But it sounds like this is definitely a trip. Like she doesn't live out here. So that's another thing that I think is interesting too. So they were coming to vacation. So she probably was on her P's and Q's anyway, too, like looking cute, makeup done. You could tell these are both very beautiful girls. So they're speaking about it. I'm gonna let her finish.
I could feel eyes on me. It could have been my outfit, but I knew it was me, But I felt all eyes on me as soon as I walked in, and I saw the demographic. When I say BBL City, Miami is BBL City, Latina girl city. Shouts out to them because there was some badass bitches in that club, like for real. But when I walked in, it was like a movie. Like it was a very surreal moment for me. I mean, I walked into the section, and I'm not even feigning to get up on the top or be, I'm just being myself. I'm having fun. Like it was very dead. Like the girls was just trying to be cute, Whereas on me, my homegirl, we come in, they pass us some shots, and as soon as we hit some songs that we like, we was lit. And that's all it took literally to get recognized. The niggas that literally own the section and that owns live or whatever saw me, pointed me out, had their people pull me up there, and I was like, I'm the face of this city. That's why you mad. Literally, that was my experience that night. Like, it was very surreal. The celebrities, we're not gonna say no names. They was on my body. Like, look at they was, it was a very good night. Shout out to her loss.
So what I'm hearing is you were confident, you were being yourself, you were not intimidated by anybody, regardless of what other people made it or make Miami out to be.
Because I knew I was gonna come there and have a great fucking time. That was my agenda. That was literally what I came there to do. I'm not letting anything, even if that was happening, I promise you I didn't notice it. Because I was not paying attention to that. I was too focused on the good, the positive, like to be dwelling on where somebody might give me a stank face or somebody not opening the door for me, but opening the door. Like I was too busy into myself and into my experience to really give a about what everybody else was doing,
Yeah. So positive thinking is very important too. Just having a positive mind, telling yourself you're gonna have a good time, choosing the best feeling thought and going with it, not even caring about what anybody says. And trust me, your life is going to be amazing from there. And this is especially to dark skin women because I know that this is something that we struggle with. Or a lot of us, from what I see, like in the comments on the internet, struggle with just constantly embodying what other people have to say. And honestly, it's hard to me, guys, like let go of that. Like she said, she was focused on the good and she had a good time.
Great.
She was the face. Like,
the face of the city, man. It was a really, really good time.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad to know. And so when she told me, I was like, Miami? Are you sure it's the same Miami? Girl, what? Because we all know Miami.
Yeah.
Okay? But so it's really refreshing to hear that, she was treated that way when she went in. So my next question is, okay, so her friend that she went with was light skin. And do you feel like because you were
no.
Like be fucking for real. Be for real.
I was gonna say you think because you were with her,
you got in those section, you got those treatments.
Hell no, because I was the connect.
Okay, that makes sense.
So how could that have been possible?
Right. So another misconception that us dark skinned girls have when they go to Miami, what I've heard is, oh, you only get in sections or get in a club when you with other light skinned girls. As you can see, that's not the case because
I was the face of the city.
That's why you mad.
But no, for real, like, and my homegirl would tell you her own stuff. Like, she intentionally even invited me because of the way I carry myself. Like, she wholeheartedly loves who I am, tells me I'm beautiful. Like, this is one of my friends that I say you got to keep those friends around you, even if they don't look like you, that literally embrace you and push you and make you feel good about yourself. Because it was not even like, oh, light skin, this type of vibe. Like, she literally wanted me there simply off the fact that I'm a beautiful woman and I bring the vibes and we was going to have a good ass damn time. And that's exactly what happened. And I feel like we're both beautiful women. Like, she's way more quiet. She's like a very quiet and reserved type. So to say like, oh, I came out with a light skinned girl and that's how that was the case, it was like, no ma'am.
So bottom line, confidence. One, carry yourself with confidence. Don't make your skin color a thing.
Stop making it a thing, because when you make it a thing, they gonna make it a thing.
And I know this channel is dedicated to that, and my brand dedicated to that. But my advice is exactly what she said. I'm doing this because I want to let you guys know that your skin shouldn't be a hindrance to do things. Or
it should be your whole identity.
It shouldn't be your whole identity. There's
Like,
a lot more to you than being dark skinned.
skin.
There's a lot more to you than being the black one or the black shit.
Like, come on.
So
because now that's all you know. That's all people are gonna know. You know, that's the dark skin one. That's the girl. What? Aren't you the pretty one? You're the beautiful one. You're the lit one. Like, there's so much different words to describe us as black women. Fuck dark skin. So many different words that we can use to describe ourselves, to limit ourselves to only our complexion. Even light skin women, when they just be saying I'm light bright, like girl, you so much more than that. Like, why are we so focused on that, or mixed? You know, being like racially ambiguous, whatever the case. Like, I just don't understand why we're so stuck on our complexion and our race, whatever, ethnicity.
Don't get me wrong. It's good to embrace it, and it's good to acknowledge. It's good to acknowledge it, but don't make
like to completely submerge yourself in only being a dark skinned girl. Like, is insanity. Like, and then you're gonna be mad at your experience because that's literally what you're putting out there. Like, and then you also don't want to walk around with the victim mentality either. Like, the more you walk around with like, I'm a victim, I'm dark skinned, this is how I'm going to be treated. That's exactly how you're going to be treated. You know,
you can come to this channel and try to look for dark skin content and stuff, but when you get out of this channel, girl, you are whoever you are. You are your own person.
Okay, yeah. So these women, I think I'm glad that they very much so shocked me, and they definitely did put in here what I wanted to see. Yes, I want to see dark skinned women pedestalizing their own beauty. I want to see dark skinned women thriving in their element, being gorgeous, and talking about positive experiences and travel. I want to see these women be more of our face. These are the women who are having great experiences, and they're not wearing. And another thing that I noticed too, not to make this a race thing or anything like that, just hang out with people who don't hold those complexes. You know, when you are aware, you don't have to hang out with people that have those complexes, so you're able to have better experiences. You know what I'm saying? Don't hang out with people that try to humble you or do have those ways of thinking. Because I will say too, with my non-black friends, girl, I be having a ball. We all just be like hot chicks in the corner. Like, it just never be a thing. I've been on here for like 2 hours. Like, what is going on? I grew up in Florida, had light and dark skinned friends. There was never a shortage of men. I know it's different in other places, but Florida, they like, hey red, hey black, LOL. This may be true, but I mean, I wasn't in that industry, but I did hit the clubs. The strip clubs and dark skinned women are definitely in the building. Yeah, it's only really self-hating men that'll like purposely exclude. Like, if you ever see, I just saw one. It was like Chris Brown, and he was in the club, and there was like, oh, there's no black women here. It's literally only self-hating, men who would even make that an environment.
So this really turned me off, y'all. You know how there's a rumor that a lot of black men in Hollywood don't like black women or brown-skinned women or even dark-skinned women? It alarmed me with this video. This video is not about this, but what alarmed me with this video is it's so many black men in there, right? But can we point out one brown-skinned or dark-skinned girl that's not light-skinned black or just another race?
That is who is contributing to this culture. the men. That is who is making it, a culture for these women who are going into these environments and they're saying they're getting treated badly. It's the men. It's not because they're ugly, it's because certain people are just ruled by certain preferences. And when you surround yourself and put yourself high enough in your own skin to where you can be knocked off that pedestal, will definitely create a new generation of more confident black women overall. Like, I think we need more confident black women to say they don't relate, relating to colorism plight. It doesn't make you the honorary dark skin neither. I don't demonize y'all for never going through it. I'm going to just say that it happens and it exists. But I'm also saying that I want to be able to assist in raising, black girls who don't experience this type of exclusion, going further. And we can have more positive and positive stories, and we can attribute our skin color to positive things. But it's up to us as strategist women, like us as girls, us as dark skinned girls. We can't call and tear down the next girl and call people who look like aunties, and grannies ugly. We can't tear down the phenotype in order to build up the own pedestal. I think that we can acknowledge all of our different, many differences and all of our harassment and bullying, but we shouldn't adopt that and make that our life. I do think that that is something that we got to let go of. And that's why people are having colorism content fatigue. It's exhausting. So I did make this video quite long. It's been about 2 hours and 50 minutes, but I did it just so, I can put this to bed. Like, we can really put this to bed and it's done. It's over with. I won't respond. I really just think that, we all are different, but we have to be in environments that celebrate us so we can have all of those confident effects within our phenotype, our personality, and our skin tone at the end of the day. I think being a confident woman is very beautiful to look at. I love to see women like that just talk. And she said that she had a great time and that, the world was her oyster. And that's how y'all should go out. And you should put yourself together just so when you do be putting your nice outfits on, put it together just so you can't look, you don't have to look to the left of you or the right of you. You are just that girl and you're gorgeous and you exude that and you get positive experiences wherever you are. And on top of that, I will just notice, if you notice that there is colorist environments that are purposely degrading you, purposely going out their way to make you feel less than, they make you feel small due to your phenotype, you exit those spaces very quickly and you don't have to apologize for doing so. So yes, that's just been my spill. Someone said, I don't want no black woman around Chris, the abusive colorist Brown. No need. Yep. I'm not even mad about it. We're glad. Like, don't nobody gonna be around Chris Brown. We're very cool with that. And that's why I also agree in letting colorism help you too. Like, the dudes who are colorists, I think good riddance, Like, most of them have deeper issues, and that's what self-hate usually does, self-loathing, and gives you deeper issues that you fight anyway. So even if they make it about your skin tone, they usually are fighting deeper demons, and it's just best to avoid those types of spaces entirely that rely on hate from the men and women. So I think that that's been the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. Like, this is what I had to say. I think that for real though, more of what I'm prioritizing, because this is the new summer, right? Like, we're not gonna bring, maybe during winter, whatever, cool. It had nothing to do with cold. During summer, we're definitely prioritizing like pretty girl content. We're definitely like prioritizing moisturized girl content, cute outfit content, cute outfits, thin spo, all types of fitness, and really just giving the girls fullness, more life, feminine. Like, we just want to get back to fluffy. Of course, I'm always going to be an activist for the girlies. I'm always going to show the receipts. I'm always going to stand up when people are trying to purposely ignore real documented discrimination that happens amongst all of us, not just black people, but even all as dark skinned people altogether, even as dark skinned non-black people. But I also think that coming into the summer months, like, girl, it's gonna be less colorism content, and I don't want to hear y'all asking about nothing else, because really, I really just want to keep it pretty, keep it light, keep it hair. Somebody posted a comment about my beauty standard, and I'm gonna be out. Yeah, that's my mentality now. You don't like my skin, features, hair, then thanks for telling me. Bye. Yeah, I love that for them. I'm like, oh, you prefer white girls? Oh, I love that for you. You know, I'm not even attracted to you. Like, that's exactly what I'd be thinking in the back of my head. Like, I didn't really, I wasn't attracted to you in the first place, so makes sense. But you know, some girls, it does hurt. It does hurt. It does hurt. I just think that it's uncalled for when people do it in public and stuff to strangers. I think that's bad. Nice live, Miss Feminine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for sticking it out with me. I know I'm quite long winded, but I get to my point initially. Like, I always get to my points. I love your content. It's fair and not hateful. Always. We always, okay? I'm always going to tell y'all the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to sit here and contradict. I'll tell y'all the truth. I get it that, you know, there's a particular image that most girls want to push out right now. They want to push out the boss babe, it girl, and colorism and self-deprecation plights. Like, it doesn't fit into that marketing. So that's why a lot of women are turning away from it. But that doesn't mean that these, like, it's not just content that we're making. These are real like systems and real things that we're documenting on YouTube. So it's okay to talk about it, but not let it be your life. Like, when I go to a tropical place, I'm not sure if I'll ever go to Florida, but if I ever go anywhere, like, I'm going to go in there like that girl did, just confident, like, okay, well, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to have me a good time. I'm going to be the life of the party. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And who else agrees? Like, who else agrees? And this is the end. So she says, yes, big lips, big hips, tan skin, fluffy hair, big lips, the way we dance. Our femininity is God giving and the strength of an African creativity, of a foundationally Black American, sensuality of all Caribbean, truly. Yes, we are a mix. This is my beauty standard. We are a mix of all the African peoples. We are beautiful in all of our skin tones, but especially in our beautiful cocoa brown mocha skin. Like, if any hate comes towards it, that's on you, because the skin is gorgeous and it's dripping in melanin, and the melanin is very expensive. Like, don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? So having these types of thoughts about yourself is great. Sometimes they attract haters, but you just buzz them off like flies. But you keep your head up so you can avoid the, you know, in the den for the most part. You know, you don't want to be slopping around with the pigs, because that is usually when you have horror stories of people using exclusion tactics, humbling tactics, and resorting to colorism, featureism, and texturism by way of desirability and strategic focus and monetization purposes here on YouTube. So it's deep. It happens, but I'm not going to let y'all drag my channel into that mess. We've always been pretty dark-skinned women over here. We're just willing to address the whole diaspora and not pick and choose, like, who we address when it comes down to who participated in colorism. We all have. As dark-skinned women, we participated in colorism. The light-skinned girls have also participated. Dark-skinned men have also participated. Light-skinned men have participated as well. And are we willing to fix it, or are we just going to keep harping on the same thing? It's where we're at now. So if you don't like the big lips, if you don't like the fluffy hair, the big nose, you can get them out of here. Okay? If you don't like the mocha skin, if you don't love the femininity, you need to get up out of here. And that's all I say. That's all I do. Thank y'all. This was fun. I had a fun time, y'all. Yes, I used to spill tea. I still kind of spill tea sometimes, but you know, depends. It depends on the mood, you know? Yes, I'm glad that y'all are here. I'm glad y'all are watching the breakdowns. I'm glad y'all like the analysis, and I'm glad that there's some place on YouTube that people can still be real. Because I just been feeling bogged down with all the fakeness, the like. It feels performative isn't even the word. It feels curated to fit a cookie cutter narrative. It just feels fake, you know. Yes, and to end off the night, I support all shades of women, and the hate on the internet will never distract me from that. And that is what we have to say. I love all my sisters at the end of the day, even the ones that detract. You know, I get it. Like, we have to improve our desirability each and every way that we can, but don't step on the next girl trying to do that. We all are going to essentially rely on, building the next generation of black girls to simply just not have these problems. And that's just my thoughts, my dosages, everything. Of course, I tell y'all, be good people. I tell y'all, be holy people. I tell y'all, read your word. And I tell y'all to spread the word. But if y'all ain't interested in that, you know, y'all can get off my YouTube. Bye, guys.